Welcome to YellBro Road. I am Jordan, and today it has finally happened. Tucker Carlson meets Nick Fuentes in an epic. Oh, they're already smiling. They're smiling already. Either way, I expect fireworks because I'm here for the gossip and the entertainment. Trust me, I am. But first, don't forget to share, support, hopefully donate to all the links in the description box. Check them out, read them, share them, then donate. All of it is very much appreciated. Also, please check out the Discord link if you want to join that. All opinions are welcome, all of them. Just nothing pornographic or grotesque. And obviously, I will link this video if you don't want to hear us pausing the video, this intro, talking over the video, whatever. If you don't want to hear that, the full video will be linked in the description box. Yeah. All right, let's get this started. Now, we all heard about their beef. Maybe they're about to squash it here. You know, Nick accusing it, like, oh. Or no, wait, it was the other way first, right? It was Tucker saying, like, this guy's probably a Fed. Nick Fuentes, he's a Fed. And Nick responded with, your dad was in the CIA. And then a whole thing, they both, started getting boosted up in the algorithm as a result of this beef. And now they're here to clear the air, I guess. And I'm here for it. Without further ado, let's see what the fuck these two motherfuckers say. Here's Tucker Carlson interviewing Nick Fuentes. Actually, I should adjust my volume a tiny bit. It sounded pretty loud initially. Do this. Okay, here we go.
Nick Fuentes, thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I wanted to meet you. I've heard about you.
I've heard about you.
So, well, thank you. I want to understand what you believe, and I want to give you a chance in a minute to just lay it out, not what you're pivoting against, which are a lot of the same thing. I agree with you on some of the things you're pivoting against for sure, but what do you affirmatively believe? So I just want to stand back and let you explain it. But first I want to understand how you got to where you are, how you became Nick Fuentes. So this is my understanding of your life
I think we already went through this.
And tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
You show up at Boston University. You grew up in a suburb of Chicago, kind of working class.
Didn't they both call each other Feds?
Western suburb, and you show up at Boston University in the fall of 2016.
This is a game you play. You got to play the game.
Of the battle between Trump and Hillary. It's like this kind of pivot point in history. And you show up with a MAGA hat, and you have a Trump hat, and you have like basically off-the-shelf Republican views.
Yes.
And so describe what the views that you had then, and then describe what happened.
Weird. Oh, wait. What the fuck was that? Is that Tucker and a banana?
Have you seen this yet? Why are you skipping this? This is information right here.
Oh, when I was in high school, I was very political. I was reading a lot of the libertarian stuff, Austrian school, Chicago school, economic type literature, because that's what was popular at the time. If you went online in the mid-early 2010s, that's all the conservative content there really was. That was the most extremely online type stuff.
Libertarian economics.
Well, yeah, basically kind of the remnant of the Ron Paul revolution.
Yes.
The Young Americans for Liberty, PragerU, which kind of skews a little more, I guess, conservative, but very basic small government, individualism, libertarian type stuff.
So you watch PragerU videos?
Oh, yeah. I was in the Prager Force.
What's that?
It's a Facebook group for college kids, and they promote the PragerU videos.
Wow.
To the college students and high school.
Really the thing that you're fighting against.
Absolutely.
And how did you feel about Trump?
Well, initially, I didn't like Trump. When the primary started in 2015, I considered him to be a statist.
Yeah.
Which sounds so ridiculous now.
No, a lot of people thought that.
Yeah. And I was a libertarian, so I saw him as a big government, 1990s liberal. When he was asked about health care, he said, well, we'll take care of everybody. And I said, I'm a Rand Paul guy, Ted Cruz guy. Those were kind of my people back in 2015.
Any predictions on how Tucker's going to treat him?
Missile.
Does Cruz
know? BFFs.
I don't think so, no. I was actually on his campaign.
And we'll get into the controversy.
You were on the Ted Cruz campaign?
We'll shake hands.
I don't know if I was on the campaign, but I door knocked in a little village in Chicago, in McKinley Park, for Ted Cruz.
No way.
In the Illinois primary.
Did he write you a thank you note?
No, I didn't get a thank you.
You were a little gay kid in Chicago, huh?
He lost, so I guess.
Yeah, he did. He did in a very humiliating way. Wow, that's amazing. So what happened?
So I,
so
like
are
everybody
you.
else in 2016, went through this ideological awakening. And first, I
I would
shifted to
recommend
Trump. And the
He's still
first
asleep.
realization that I had is it started in 2016, actually, because the primaries, started in 15, around April or May. I think.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's going to be a long video, but it is what it is. Usually when you, like, man, I was asleep and now I've woken up, you have to start digging in the questions, like, what else am I sleeping about? Am I still sleeping? Or, like, am I still sleeping, actually? These are questions that honest people ask themselves if they're actually trying to improve. But if you're just stop at wherever your success leads you to, or wherever you like, hey, people like me now. If you stop there, you're probably fucked. It's my humble opinion, but let's keep playing. Here we go.
First announcements. And I had very negative feelings about Trump. And like I said, pro Rand Paul, pro Cruz. But when the actual Iowa caucus happened and the primaries began, I saw that Trump was dominating. And every night in the Super Tuesday, when they had all the big contests, one after the other, I remember the media was furious that he was winning one after the other. And I remember thinking to myself, like, structurally, if I'm a libertarian or a conservative and we want to change the country, we have to win elections. If you want to win elections, you have to bypass the media. I sort of had this realization that the media was really standing in the way. They were the problem. And I had this realization that all the conservatives and Republicans up to that point were afraid to take on the media. They, like Mitt Romney, would cower before them and were so apologetic and so weak. And so initially I said, I actually don't ideologically agree with Trump at all, but he will destroy the liberal media, or at least their monopoly on thought and opinion.
Yes.
And then a breakthrough can occur. So that was kind of the first hump. And I said, I could get behind Trump because he's a winner. He'll win for our side.
Pause again.
And that was kind of the first big thing. And then as I listened to him more and more, his speeches and his rhetoric, I started to think about immigration.
Which you hadn't really considered before?
Never. And the reason why is because I was from a 95% white suburb. So the diversity had not really reached my corner of Chicago yet.
Nick was the 5%.
Me and my family, not so much my family, they grew up in the city, but growing up in the suburbs, I was insulated from that. So it was just not even, it's actually, you're going to love this. This is, I don't know if I've ever even said this on an interview before. I was listening to Mark Levin's show. This goes to show how normie I was.
Actually?
I listen to him every day.
You listen to Mark Levin every day?
In high school, yes.
Wow.
I was a fan. I loved his show. And I actually liked how he was kind of obnoxious and mean to his callers.
Yeah.
Vicious. And I liked that. I thought that was funny. But I'll never forget one show. He goes live and he says, America's becoming a majority non-white country. Does anybody think that's a good idea? And I was thinking to myself, yeah, that actually doesn't sound so good. I didn't really even think that America's becoming majority minority like that. And,
wait, so you were radicalized on race by Mark Levin?
Yes.
Are you making that up? Or that's
a real story.
And you still hold some of those beliefs, but now Mark Levin's a bad guy. Like, I would question myself, like, where did my origins of my ideas come from? If they're full of shit, like, shouldn't I just or like the source of it is full of shit? And maybe it's not.
He sounds like.
My God.
No, I was gonna say a stupid joke. Like his voice sounds very similar to Mark Levin.
Hey there, guy. Hey, pal.
Hey there.
Get out of my neighborhood.
They both got Hermit the Frog on it.
So
his household was part of the 5% of his neighborhood.
But I'm sure he identified as white. Either way, you come from a 95% white neighborhood, and you start thinking about the racial turnover from Mark Levin, and you still hold on to the idea. You're not questioning your conditioning or anything like that. Shouldn't it be about character? Do you believe something different now? Like, where are you at? Are you just watching rap videos? Like, what?
We're losing our country.
Okay. Really?
How expensive is the 95% white neighborhood in Chicago? That's gonna be like $32 million a fucking.
I'm sure he had decent money. I'm sure he's had decent money his whole life.
Are the security guards white too?
A lot more now.
Or are those the 5%?
Well, I'm just saying, like, he's probably had money his whole life, right? Maybe his parents didn't, but he did.
I said...
I'm not responding to you. I'm saying something different, Topster.
Oh. I'm pretty sure security guards, they weren't white. That's the 5%.
I got your joke. I got it. Don't worry. But he's not. How come he doesn't consider? Does he consider economics as a part of, behavior in inner cities, or is it strictly just it's the race? See, duh. It's curious, but here we go.
Amazing.
I'm really grim on that.
He planted the seed at least. And then I saw a graphic on 4chan or Twitter, and I'm sure you've seen something similar. It said, "This is what the map looks like, the electoral map. If only men vote, if only women vote, if only whites vote, if only non-whites vote." And it became very obvious what the electoral problem is. It's demographics. These immigrants are coming here. They're going to turn Texas blue like they turned California blue.
Yeah, I saw it happen.
Yeah, and you look at even the opinion polls. These people don't believe in free speech. They don't believe in the Constitution, the Second Amendment. As a libertarian, the things that are, and as American, things that are important to you, they don't believe, they don't understand these things. And so I said, that's another political obstacle. You've got the media, you've got immigration. Understand. So I'm thinking like, well, we're going to vote for Ted Cruz. He's going to be the constitutionalist. We'll vote for Rand Paul. He'll be the libertarian.
Catholics, right?
But what stands in the way of political power for us? It's the media and it's immigration. So I said, well, we got to get Trump to beat the media, build
Catholic
the wall, deport the illegals. And
well, I need to know a time period where these guys weren't worried about being kicked out of the country, because it can't be Bill Clinton. It can't be George Bush. It definitely can't be Barack Obama. It can't be Donald Trump. Like maybe Joe Biden, but they were waiting all those years for a Biden administration before, like, he's talking about before Biden, right? So I'm like, when were they risking? Like, hey man, let's be illegal immigrants and vote blue, or hey, let's move to these states, have kids, and they'll vote blue. Was that like a plan? Was it a concerted effort? Was it accidental? Was it environmental? I don't know. I mean, that'd be a crazy thing to bring your kids here just to vote for Democrats. Especially after a Barack Obama administration where they're throwing them out of the country in large numbers.
Are you denying that the Democrats didn't campaign outside of our country to get people to come here to vote for them?
Well, maybe they did some stuff like that, but I think California would vote blue anyways because their major cities would vote blue. Like, they have so many people in LA alone. And if they add in San Francisco, Sacramento, like, they're major cities with a shit ton of people. A shit ton of people.
Schwarzenegger was a Republican and was governor when? Of California?
He's also a fucking famous actor, too. It's like he has friends in these big cities, doesn't he? He's fucking Arnold. Ugh. Like, I'm just saying. And he probably, once again, his version of Republican is not the Trump version of Republican. At least, like, in rhetoric and on the surface. Right? And during Iraq war times, they were all everyone was getting everyone to try to support the Iraq war. Right? Every senator and House person. Yeah, go ahead.
California was kind of balanced in 2010 time period, I'm thinking. As in the balance of Republican, Democrat, and Congress, as in the House. And they had like, was it 46 seats or something? And it was like 22 to 32. Still more Democrats, but it was closer of a balance.
Yeah, but the state was going to vote blue, in regards to electoral politics, right?
Yeah, since for a long time, I don't even know exactly.
Either way, let's continue. I just think I think Nick needs to do a real autopsy of his origins. But I probably said this last time, but that Candace video I don't think ever came out, so, to be fair. Or it didn't come out, right? It got blocked and I got copyright struck. But, all right, here we go.
once we set the country straight, then we can actually have our constitutional republic back. That was kind of the idea. And that's the mindset that I had going into college.
Is that one on Rumble?
Amazing.
And you were wrong.
So then what happened?
So I go to college, and I'm just, at that point, a huge Trump supporter. And you got to understand, for me, for my generation, so I was 18. I turned 18 in August 2016. And to us,
That's
Trump...
amazing.
Yeah. Well, because we're like the first generation that
So
was
using
influenced
all
by
that
Trump
before
coming of
18.
age in that moment.
No, I say it's amazing because when you're living in something, you don't appreciate its full significance. But to be 18 in August of 2016, so this really is, as you're forming your views and really yourself
Yes.
in the middle of this. We'll admit that we are not the most
the fuck?
disciplined snackers. Like people first
Us, he was like the savior of Western civilization. We looked at him as like, and by we, I mean me and all the online kids, teenagers that supported him. We really believed the hype.
Wait,
Like,
so he was
Teflon
worried
Don,
about losing
like,
his country during
he could go
Obama.
into any scenario and win. Like, he was
Technically, yeah.
unstoppable,
Immigrants.
unflappable.
Yeah.
Nobody could score points on him. He just
So
seemed
he
like,
must have supported Obama.
you know,
then.
they said you can't stump the Trump. Like, he
Yeah.
could not
He
be
should have
stumped.
supported
And so
Obama's
he just had this aura of
immigration policy, for sure.
inevitability,
Yes.
invincibility. And I loved that. And so I went to Boston University. I got on
Or he was
campus
a
in
brainwashed
September, and I was wearing my
But he won't-
MAGA hat
he won't admit
everywhere
that. He
in
can't
the
admit that,
dining
right?
hall, walking down the street.
He probably can't admit that because then it looks bad. You say like, well, I was a dumbass. I didn't know what I was doing, because there's plenty of views he still holds on to. Like, I don't think he actually like left the track to be like, let me study, my trail here. Let me study it. Instead, it's just keep pushing forward, and whatever has to get pushed aside or go away, we'll just get rid of, without stopping and examining anything. Which is good for celebrity, bad for actual analysis and actual substance and actual, living. Truest form of living. Not just an amalgamation of borrowed ideas mushed into one person, right? That's boring, right? It's boring. You don't want to think for yourself and be like, man, I own this. I own this. I don't want to be in 5 years like, well, Bob tricked me into this. You want to be able to say, I own what I'm doing at all times, right? Kind of the goal. But who cares, right? Let's keep on.
And it's a city campus. So you're walking down Commonwealth Avenue, and, you're in the city of Boston, which is super liberal.
Mariota,
And at that time, it's different than it was now. People were getting fired for wearing MAGA hats. People were getting punched in the face. It was like being a Trump supporter was
On the
out
internet.
there actually back then. It was
Yeah, I remember.
controversial.
On the internet.
It was controversial everywhere, not even, just in liberal Boston. But so I was wearing my hat everywhere, and I was just getting accosted constantly. In the dining hall, people would come up and yell in my face. Some black girl in a hijab ran up to me and said, you know what you're supporting? You're racist. This. And I'm trying to get my pizza. I'm trying to get my oatmeal or whatever.
Oh, it's their fault, Nick. Got
This
it.
was happening constantly. And so I was going then on Twitter, and I had a small Twitter account with my real name and face, and I had, maybe 200 followers, and I'm posting about my experiences. And I caught the attention of a lot of people on campus for wearing the hat, for posting on Twitter, and they found my
And
Twitter.
you've only been there like a month?
less weeks, maybe 3 weeks. This is starting to kick up. And I catch the attention of my peers, and they
Maybe you
start
see an opportunity, Nick.
going at me on
I don't
Twitter and giving me death
like
threats.
Candace,
We're
right?
going to
Didn't
kill
Candace do the
you.
same
How dare you? If I see you, I'm going to beat your ass, that kind of thing. And this was my first experience with this. Now we're all kind of desensitized to it, but that was my first run-in with this intensity from the left. So I file a police report. I get real nervous. And, when you're a student, you can't really avoid other people. You're in a dorm room.
Exactly.
You're in the, so you're vulnerable. And anyway, long story short, so one of these guys from the campus libertarian group, Young Americans for Liberty, he reaches out to me and says, hey, I'm not going to say his name, but he goes, I go to a school in Boston. I'm from YAL. He said, and I'd like to set up a debate with you and one of these people that's been giving you a hard time on campus, because they were doing a lot of events. He said, is that something you're interested in? I said, absolutely. And so he goes around and he asks some of the bigger people that are antagonizing me on Twitter, and everybody says no. And he goes, yeah, no one's going for it. I said, well, can you try again? Can you? And so he finds one guy, And it turns out to be the student body president of the whole university.
It'll be you.
Yeah, the senior, this liberal douchebag progressive. And he's the student body president of the student government there. And so we set up the debate. It was about a week before the actual election. So I think it was end of October, beginning of November. And they hold it in this auditorium in the center of the campus. And like 300 people show up. So it turns into like this huge, and they're all liberal. They all hate my guts. They're heckling me the whole time. They're yelling at me. We do this debate about Trump versus Hillary. And so I'm there and I'm pro-Trump and I say, you know, I think Trump's going to win. And I'm straight up like ripping the Ben Shapiro talking points. I'm saying, you know, it's got everything to do with culture and nothing to do with race and diversity's a problem and all this. And I decisively win the debate. It's like not even close. The debate wraps up and this girl who I think I had talked to her on Twitter once or twice comes running up to the stage after the debate, and it's Cassie Dillon. And at this time, she's a fellow at Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro's company. And like I said, I barely knew her. And
The
she comes
notorious
running up and
Cassie
she says,
Dillon.
"Oh my gosh, I live streamed this debate
I
on
almost want to skip
Periscope
this
on
'cause
Twitter."
We've heard this.
She said, and
10 bajillion
30,000
times.
people watched it, and you have like
Right.
5 job offers. You did
I'm
incredible.
gonna skip this.
Maybe you
No
should.
timestamps.
Like,
I'll try my
Yeah.
best to find
Double.
somewhere to go.
I said, wow. I think that you have to look at it not in retrospect, because hindsight is 2020. And so looking back, you could say they made a terrible mistake because look at sort of what they provoked or what they catalyzed. But at that time, you got to consider,
it looks like Lord
I'm 18
Bloomer.
with no following, with no network. I'm coming from the suburbs of Chicago. My parents didn't go to
Okay,
college.
we're
I
still
have
here.
no connections. Okay, so clearly what I'm
Timestamp.
asking
So when did you
about,
become a
there's some
Fed?
truth there that they don't
Yeah,
want.
he's
Do you
asking
think I
about
should have-
Israel.
Demographics. Forget about the rest. That's what we need to conserve. And I said that. And I was told later on that at that moment, I was immediately disqualified by the people that were running the job training.
On what grounds?
They said that was too far right. That was too extreme.
Worrying
When
about
did he
who lives
join?
in your country.
Keep moving.
Jared Taylor.
You get
So-
your show gets canceled. You drop out of college. You have no money. You decide you want to work at the Leadership Institute, which is like a conservative think tank or some organization of longstanding in Arlington, Virginia.
Mhm.
Can't get the job there because you're worried about immigration. It's all pretty amazing. And then, like, where does that leave you? How did you succeed?
Well, I continued doing my show. I did it independently.
What does that
And-
mean? How do you do it? How do you do a show independently? Like, how did you do it?
I started a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And I was in my parents' basement. And
Gay
I
kid
put
in
up
the
a green
basement.
screen. I got my computer, webcam, and I just started going live every night in the same way that I did at RSBN. I just did it on my own channel where I had creative control over it. And at that point, I basically mounted an attack on the conservative establishment from the outside. I sort of realized
How'd you do it,
that
Tucker?
there's sort of 2 ways you could play this. You could infiltrate the conservative movement. I could recant all my views and apologize and pretend to be one of them and bypass the gatekeepers, the censors. I said, or I could kind of be in the wilderness and I would be alone and I would be radioactive, but I could challenge the credibility and legitimacy of the conservative movement and its claim to represent conservatives. And that
Nick, we need to be honest with ourselves. There is a sensational aspect. Even if he's being honest and real about it, there is a sensational aspect to what you do. And let's be real, a lot of little, buttheads on the internet love the sensational nature of what you do. I'm sure you would say even more crazy things back then. I could almost assume that. Because it was what? Entertainment for people. So, and like you still like, if once again, I tried to watch 2 of your live streams already with your 5-hour fucking intros, and you can see in the chat it's like a party. It looks like a gamer chat almost, like little gamer kids. It's just like here for entertainment. It's like we just want to be like around the phenomenon, maybe even be a part of it, but more so mainly just be around it. And once again, he doesn't say anything that has been said a million times, but in a different way. people have said the things that Nick has said, you know, if I put the racial stuff aside, but politically, people have said that for years and years and years, but they're not, you know, they're not entertaining about it. They're just saying it as in like, yo, this is what's happening, or this has happened. They've been around forever and ever. But, you know, you have a little bit more sensationalized, you know, content. So thus people are drawn to it more. It is what it is. If you were doing the same exact character and style that he does on his own channel, but he's talking about, you know, the best workout supplements, he's not going to be where he is. He's just not. He has to have the racial stuff. He has to have the, you know, women should be at home cooking me dinner or bullshit like that. And, you know,
That's not sensational.
Israel.
That's the traditional woman.
Dubster, admit it. It's catnip for slow brains like you. Admit it.
It's not sensational. It's what we
people
want.
That are more and more.
It's what straight men want.
There you go.
Yeah. You want your woman barefoot, cooking in the kitchen, you on a farm. That's the fucking goal of every Republican out there.
Okay. What's Nick's goal?
Be in the middle of the fucking... Be a farm.
Is that Nick's goal?
Farm.
You think?
Woman in kitchen, cooking, barefoot.
All right, whatever.
That's
Either way, all right, enough with slow brain here. Yeah, it's gonna get views just based on that, and then obviously like the bans and you can't touch this content. That just adds to it, right? I can tell you the number of fucking, or I can't tell you the number of fucking people that brag off of being banned or blocked or censored or whatever the fuck as like a bragging point. It's almost a marketing pitch at that point. Yo, they just shut me down. See that? Yo, I'm shadow banned everywhere I go. They can't stop. I got the truth, and they don't want you to hear it. Maybe he wasn't saying that exactly, but just that on the surface, dummies will take that as he's legit. Just like people took Trump was legit because, as Nick said, the news was crapping on him, so he must be legit. It's kindergarten psychology. It works on people. Like, you have to be honest about where. It's like Jordan Peterson saying, I don't have any fans. I don't have fans. It's like, yeah, you do. You fucking joking?
But yet they were censored.
It's crazy.
Yeah, they were censored. That was crazy.
No, they're just like pretending to be ignorant of the fact that like what really got you here, what really gave you like a claim to fame here. Like, be honest, man. Like, really diagnose it. But these guys are susceptible, and guess what? They're going to become victims of the thing that they turn their brains off to become. They're going to become victims of it. Shout out to the Dark Knight. Die and be a hero, or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. They are just walking that path. There's day. But anyways, here we go.
Was kind of the mission, was to say...
And I'm probably going to skip past this because it's more of Nick's biography. I want to hear like ideas being passed around.
No, the immovable standard is America first. Like, take Joe Kent, for instance.
Joe Kent.
I supported Joe Kent, and I talked to Joe Kent. I got introduced to him by Matt Brainerd. Matt Brainerd went to my conference in 2021. He bought a table.
Was he his campaign manager?
He was.
Okay.
Or he was a consultant, but he was on the campaign. Yeah.
Or the Joe Kent.
And so I met Matt Brainerd. He liked me a lot. He loved my conference in February 21, which he bought a table at for his organization, Look at America.
There's a point of conflict for that.
And in 2021, and by we, I mean my nonprofit and myself and my team, we wanted to support America First candidates in the midterms. Like you said, authentic opponents.
Me too.
Yeah.
And that's how I found Joe Kent.
Yes. And so I met a lot of the people in that sort of scene, like Ryan Gerdusky, I know, is very supportive of Joe Kent, and other people that are more private, I don't want to name, but they put me on, not just to Joe Kent, but Patrick Witt in Georgia, Gibbs in Michigan, a lot of different people. And Joe Kent was one of them. And I had a phone call with Joe Kent. And I told him, I had my assistant on the phone too, who's Jewish, by the way, just because I want you to know I'm cool like that. You know, I don't judge. But so I'm on the phone with Joe, and I said, look, we support you, and we want to do everything we can to help you. We want to have my followers knock on doors for you. We want to boost your social media. Anything that you need, we want to help you. I said, and we don't even want to be publicly associated. I said, because we know that might hurt you. I said, the only thing that we ask in return is you can't disavow me if the media asks. And you can say whatever you need to say, but you can't disavow. And he said, yeah, I totally agree with you, because if we start disavowing each other, then we're just going to eat each other alive and the left wins. We're in agreement. And a couple months later, Joe tweeted in support of me, because I had been banned on all social media. I was on the no-fly list. So he said something on Twitter Nick Fuentes shouldn't be banned. He should not be censored. A month after that, I put out on Twitter, I said, Joe Kent is one of the most impressive America First candidates that's running in 22. Well, fast forward a whole year later, I do my annual conference, AFPAC, in February 22. Marjorie Taylor Greene attends. It's we had 1,200 people, and it got a lot of media attention. And I'm driving home, because I'm on the no-fly list at this time. I'm driving home from Florida.
Can I ask you to pause? By no-fly list, you mean not extra scrutiny, but like not allowed to fly in airplanes in the United States?
Not allowed to fly, yes.
How old were you?
I was 23.
Did you have any felony convictions?
No.
Okay. I wasn't even aware that could happen. How long were you not allowed to fly in airplanes in the United States?
1 year.
It's really crazy.
Yeah, it was.
Sorry, I just want to get that out there.
No, yeah, it's.
It's crazy, but exactly, they can do that to Americans. Look at that. But also, it's free. Once again, it's free. It's free marketing. Once again, slow brains will be like, "Whoa, this guy must be saying something like truthful. It must be the truth that this guy's saying. He's dangerous to the establishment. He's dangerous to power." Meanwhile, all actions point to helping them. They do actually help out, dude. They help out. It's like, it's interesting. Very interesting.
Tucker and Candace attacking him. They were at that point much, much bigger than him. He blew up, and now they're having a friendly chat here.
Look at that. You know what I want from you, Tucker, huh? Sit down and have a conversation with me. And now they're sitting down and having a conversation. Both teams win. Now, like, Tucker's all right again, yo. He's cool again.
You don't know that? We haven't gotten to the end yet.
Oh, okay.
It could bust out into a fucking brawl.
Oh, okay.
It's a brawl.
Can't observe what's happening.
All right, here we go.
Brutal.
And you confirm that you were not allowed to fly in airplanes? Period.
Yes, I have the letter from the TSA, yeah. I was on the do not board list.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's crazy. But so anyway, so I'm driving home from Florida after my conference, and I get people start texting me. Joe Kent is on Twitter, and he says, I condemn Nick Fuentes, especially his views on Israel. That's the tweet. And I texted Joe, and I said, seriously? And he texted me back, and he says, we win by addition, not subtraction. I go, well, you just subtracted me out of the movement. I said, because I don't support you anymore. He goes back for seconds. He goes on Twitter and says,
why is it all about Nick? Let's be honest, Nick. Someone pulled him into a room. They rolled out the old school, VCR TVs. They rolled it out on the fucking stand, just like at fucking high school. They pop in the tape and they're like, "This is Nick Fuentes," and they just go through a mixtape of things. You think you're gonna rise up with this guy as like your backer or one of your big backers? It's like, it's not gonna work. You know what you have to do now, right? But, or, of course, the most obvious: Israel blackmailed him. Duh, Israel blackmailed him. Of course, that's what happened. All right, here we go.
Nick Fuentes and his focus on race and religion does not fit with my message of inclusive populism. Inclusive populism. That doesn't sound like authentic America First. That sounds like bullshit to me. And I don't know. I know he's your friend, but I don't know him that well. And
right.
I'm not on the team.
Isn't that the founding fathers?
So my read on Joe Kent was he's totally sincere. He, like me, has always been committed to separating out like foreign policy views from ethnicity, not because, I mean, obviously I'm denounced as an anti-Semite every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really care what ADL thinks of me, but my Christian faith tells me that there's no such thing as blood guilt, and virtue or sin is not inherited. It's not a feature of DNA. So every person must be assessed individually as God assesses each person individually. And that's like a foundational view. So I always thought it's great to criticize and it's question like our relationship with Israel because it's insane and it hurts us. We get nothing out of it. I completely agree with you there. But
okay, is he mistaking the U.S. government for Americans? They're two different things. They obviously benefit, and some Americans do benefit from the actions we do in tandem with Israel. But no, it doesn't help your average Joe. I agree with that. But then again, when does America work for the average Joe? When do they put their all their hard work towards helping the average Joe? They don't. At least in modern era, at least. Nothing. I've not seen a fucking thing. In fact, all it's been doing is gutting the average Joe. Whether Israel's involved or not. People need to wake up to that shit. One day, they might wake up to that shit. If we once again snap our fingers and Israel disappears from the planet Earth, guess what? Your government's still doing dirt all over the fucking place. Straight up. Anyways.
The second you're like, well, actually, it's the Jews. First of all, it's against my Christian faith. Like, I just don't believe that, and I never will, period. And second, then it becomes a way to discredit. That's when I was like, this guy's a Fed.
Mm-hmm.
I was totally convinced you were a Fed because I was like, here he's bear hugging like the one sincere guy who lost his wife in Syria thanks to the fucking crazy wars, neocon wars. And he's discredited. He's doing the David Duke. Like David Duke would always, every time I rolled out a new show, he would issue an endorsement of the show. I've never met the guy. What's that? Well, it's the Feds. Obviously, he's trying to destroy me by association. Whatever. You see the point?
Yeah, but so let me ask you this. So if I'm supporting Joe Kent, I'm David Duke bear hugging. If I attack Joe Kent, I'm attacking the only sincere America First voices.
I get it. I mean, I do get it. And I just want to say I love Joe Kent. Again, having been denounced by a lot of people I like, I know what that feels like.
Mm-hmm. So
I definitely am sympathetic to that.
Yeah.
I was denounced by someone I like last night. I hurt my feelings. You know what I mean? Whatever. I'm not even going to say what her name is, but I helped her. I liked her. It's like, why are you denouncing me? Why didn't you call me?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I get that. I guess the two problems, but then on the other hand, like one of my favorite people in the world is Glenn Greenwald.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love Glenn.
Oh, what a good man. Glenn must have spent like 10 years attacking me full time. Tucker Carlson is da-da-da-da-da. And some of his criticism was correct, actually. A tool of the neocons, endorsing these fucking wars. Like, he was right. But he really hated me. And then when we started to agree on stuff, I was like, you know what? It's not about me. I don't care. Like, I don't want
Tucker's calling
personal
himself
pique or my hurt
a
feelings.
tool of the neocons.
Yeah, he said he was.
Tool of the neocons.
The problem is he wouldn't tell you when he's in it, but because he wouldn't know. And we have to sit back and watch him grow and mature. Pause.
What do you say? What do you say? Is he aware now, or is he still doing it and not aware?
Well,
He's aware of what he did back then as neocon. He's not aware of what he's doing now.
if he's doing anything. See, I bring this, especially in serious situations or serious decision making, where I'm not going to sit here and tell someone what to do. That's stupid. But I will say to them, like, hey, I better not hear you in 10 years from now saying, damn, I fucked up 10 years ago. That's what I don't want to hear. And that requires real work, real observation. You can't just say, well, I'm not a neocon anymore and move on. You have to actually examine, how the fuck did you get there in the first place? How did you fuck that up in the first place? Which takes real work, because how you get there is a bunch of things. It can come from childhood conditioning. It can come from adulthood conditioning. It's because your friends went that way, or your lover went the otother way, whatever. We have all these different factors. It could be money, conditioning for such love for money that you'll actually compromise maybe what you believe in to say these things as a news anchor or whatever you're doing, right? You have to actually examine and like find the fucking trail of what you just went through and examine it to where it's like, okay, I know the fucking road signs now. This will never happen again. I don't think Tucker did that. I think he dropped one thing and kept walking. It's like Nick. Nick's like, oh, well, that was a mistake. Let me just drop that and keep walking. And it's like, you're not going to examine the junk you just threw on the road? You're stuck with it anyways. You're dragging it behind. It's a fucking rope tied to your belt buckle. As you're walking away, you're still dragging it with you. But to just ignore it out of reality is kind of crazy. Especially for someone that wants to be on the quote-unquote righteous side of things or the godly side of things or whatever you want to call it. But okay. Here we go.
To govern my behavior. I guess that's what I'm saying. I'm not lecturing you. I get it. But I feel like, okay, he pissed you off. It's in a campaign. He's got 19 consultants. This kid's a Nazi. Be careful of him. Like, I don't know. Let it go.
Well, and I totally agree with you, by the way. And that's why.
What you just said made me think of the article I read on InfoWars today, because it was on InfoWars and the audacity of InfoWars telling us this. Marco Rubio is the reason we're going to war with Venezuela. And Trump is now working. Yeah, and Trump is now compromised and working with the neocons. Like, today, like, breaking news.
If you want
to InfoWars, it's breaking news.
You could have made that assessment a long time ago. A long time ago. In regards to Marco Rubio.
Today.
He's also not just
but the way I'm hearing that is putting it all on Rubio.
Yes, it's protection. It's protection.
Well, the headline and the picture is a picture of Marco Rubio saying he's like the lead neocon. Like, he's number one neocon.
Okay, but he had, in his first administration, he had Elliot Abrams, he had John Bolton that were also bloodthirsty for Venezuela. He got rid of...
mentioned John Bolton.
Okay, he got rid of those guys, but the Venezuelan policy stayed the same. Well, that's what I'm saying.
You're also missing a big picture. Neocons is something that goes back to, the 70s?
Sure.
But, like, they're saying...
Well,
I just thought that was hilarious, according to what you just said. It's like
telling us the same thing. Even Alex Jones is promoting it. Shit.
Yeah, and Alex Jones said if there was a war I would support, it'd be against Venezuela. So that's already just it kills the entire thing right there.
The only thing is I didn't remember who wrote the article. It might not have been Alex Jones, but it would have still been somebody that works at InfoWars.
Yeah. Well, here's what I'm gonna do right now. It's like this is staying on the topic we were just talking about too, as well, where it's like, okay, Nick finds out. He went through his whole origin story, where I'm sure he's gonna bring out, oh, these people like kind of deceived me because I thought, like, I was trying to be like consistent with my principles and my politics. That hey, we should like these guys are doing some weird stuff. Let's criticize them. They're not America. Let's criticize them. And he got backlash for it, right? And then at that point, it's like, oh, my eyes are open. Now I see this whole game being played. You have Tucker talking about supporting these wars, these neocon wars, and then waking up and be like, man, I messed up. And it's like,
it was a tool for them.
But what's weird is, Tucker ended up supporting Trump, I believe voting for him, and essentially campaigning for him. And let's be real, even though Nick didn't vote for the guy, I'm sure he had a better pick. And had a pick that I'm sure he had Trump as a better option than Harris, which isn't saying much, but still. And then when Trump starts doing the fuckery during his administration, he's like, aha, see? Instead of being like, hey guys, you should not vote for this fucking idiot. Maybe he did do that. I mean, I haven't watched all his fucking content. Maybe he did say that. It's just, man. the things that he claimed to fall for in the first, like during the first administration, right? It's like you would have fell for him again. I really wonder what the difference is. Maybe it's the JD Vance Palantir, all that stuff. Is it strictly Israel? Is that the big deal? Once again, if I get rid of the Israel stuff, the guy's still, his policy is still neocon. Still does destructive shit around the planet. So like, I'm trying to find the lessons that were learned by these people. I really am.
Tucker can criticize his old self, but he's not looking at what he's doing right now. So
No.
I mean, we see like he'll criticize policies that are happening now, but he can't touch Trump. Like verbally, he can't say it. You know,
Well,
like who's doing it? And just this year, it was when he was getting arguments with Nick. Um, he was just lying to people about not remembering or not knowing about his father. Like
yeah,
when
he
the
was
year
caught with that.
before he knew,
Yeah,
you know, like, and before that he knew that too.
yeah,
So he's like, "Oh, I just found out."
yeah. And these same characters always all around each other. Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens. They're all in orbit of each other. And I'm trying to find where's the excellence at that the audience is seeing? Where's the excellence at? I don't fucking see it, man. I don't see it. And like, wouldn't it make sense for Nick to bring up Trump and like how disappointing this guy is? Bless me. Like, wouldn't that be like a thing that be on Tucker's platform where you're definitely going to get a shit ton of views, right? Because it's Tucker and Nick now joining forces. Pause. Shouldn't this be like a really good opportunity to like bring up like your real problems with Trump? Maybe he did already, but it just is,
No, man,
breeze through it.
he's getting tricked by the neocons.
Oh, come on. I'd love to hear
That's
a
the
real
answer
discussion.
every time. That's the answer every time, man. From these made people, like,
Well, just I'm asking nature and God to humor me and let them get into a discussion about that. And once again, they don't have to be like fucking assholes to each other. They can be cordial and just have a conversation. But I think it's something worth digging into because I don't see enough of it from Tucker. And sometimes I see clips of Nick ranting about it on his live streams or whatever. You're on YouTube right now, Nick, the platform you're banned from. Why not go there here? And then that'd be a good idea. But
oh, within the last week, I did hear Trump is pissed off again at Netanyahu if he doesn't stop with the Gaza thing. From somebody said that
they're
to
still
where it
bombing.
became a headline.
Okay, they're still bombing
Please.
in Gaza. They're still bombing in Gaza, and Trump has said nothing about it. Or was it
But
another anonymous White House source? Was it that?
no, it was a big name, but I laughed at it. I just forgot who it was. And they were like,
Was it
Trump's
Vance?
on his last. No, it was Kushner. That's who said it. Kushner said Trump. If Netanyahu doesn't honor this ceasefire thing, Trump's done with Netanyahu.
Oh, they're
Okay.
full of shit.
Yeah, okay. You've heard that before.
Meanwhile, the article I read today was Trump has made $50 billion available for the rebuild of Gaza.
Awesome.
Yep.
With a B.
Can't wait to see how that plays out.
The Kushner plane.
Yeah.
Another $50 billion we're paying for somebody else to build a casino.
Well, all right.
Somebody else. Those are investments.
Yeah. It's
They're gonna have a
investments,
piece
but
of that.
yes, it's your money, Dubster, but it's not coming back to you. The ROI is not coming back to you. It's just not. Maybe you get
Unless you go to the casino and win.
maybe get like a little cheaper gas. Maybe price of beef comes down a little bit, but you're not really getting anything out of it.
No. Buy a $1,800 plane ticket to Gaza,
Ah, okay.
and then put $2,000 down on black on the roulette table and see what happens. You might be able to cover the flight.
I think you're better off putting $2,000 down on BlackRock in the stock market because they're gonna clean up too. But yeah, and add some Palantir in there too. You're probably good. But all right.
Just remember why you're drinking your free soda in that casino. That 60,000 people had to die for your casino to fucking exist.
Yeah, fucking ghosts flying out of the machines as you pull the fucking lever. Slot machine. Price.
I was seeing reports that violence actually ramped up, like more than before. But it's like the settlers who are doing it. The settlers are basically attacking them.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But all right, let's keep going. Hopefully they bring up an actual full-scale conversation about the Trump administration. We are 9-10 months in. They should have something to say, but let's find out. Here we go.
I don't take it personally at all. And I like you. I've said very positive things about you on my show as well. I
don't care.
And I know, but I mean to say that.
You don't?
My goal is America first.
Right.
It's not about me. It's not about my personality. It's about winning for America, And
Right.
by winning, I mean we want to see our vision realized. But with Joe, for me, it was very specific that he said inclusive populism. And I really didn't like that because to me, there were a lot of similar phrases at this time, multiracial, working class, populism, this kind of stuff. And I said, on some level, we do need to be exclusive, not inclusive. We do need to be right-wing. We do need to be Christian. We do, on some level, need to be pro-white, not to the exclusion of everybody else, but recognizing that white people have a special heritage here as Americans. And so the reason I opposed him in 22 was not because I was mad.
Yeah, Nick, in 10 years, you're going to be saying the same thing? In 15. Maybe you will be. Let's say you're standing in front. Now, let's say, now you're on your deathbed and you see Jesus walk into the room. You going to say that then? He'd be lying if he said, yeah, it would. Yeah, it would. Yes.
Is Joe Kent white?
I mean, I never heard a whiter name than Joe Kent.
Made me think black guy, but okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Jonathan Kent, Superman's, adopted dad. Martha Kent, the whitest names ever, bro. Straight from Kansas.
I never think of Joe and John being, I guess they're kind of same. Okay.
All I want is no regrets. I want Nick thinking of not just this life. I want him to think of multiple lives. Let's say, like, the possibility of reincarnation. I want him to think about every little detail of, could this be a fuck up? Could this be a fuck up in regards to his own ideas, not to anyone else's? Forget about my ideas. Forget about Jesus' ideas. His own ideas. Like, will this be a regrettable thing to be saying and pushing for in the future at some point? If you're saying this will never change no matter what, okay. But then again, I did hear him say if God told him to kill a baby, he'd fucking do it. It sounds like he is subject to change. Which means, wouldn't you look back at this and be like, damn, what the fuck was I doing? I was asleep. The thing he says where I'm in my awakening was actually him still sleeping and not realizing it. That's all I'm saying. But let's continue. Here we go.
But it was to say, America First cannot backslide into this kind of inclusive populism message, which I perceive to be more like GOP slop. And I'll tell you, when he ran again in 24, I did not oppose him. And I would have supported him if he had reached out or something like that. Because for me, it was very political and professional. I wanted to impose a cost. If you disavow someone because they criticize Israel, if you disavow someone for talking about white people and Christianity, I said, we can't let that slide because, and you understand why he did it. Like on some level, I don't hold it against him in the sense that there is such a strong incentive. It's easy to say, I disavow all these crazy Christians and all these crazy white nationalists, because it buys you wiggle room with people that are attacking you. It's like easy to throw them under the bus and say, right, I'm one of the good guys. And so I said, it's too easy. We need to push in the other direction and say, you should feel less comfortable saying that people shouldn't talk about their race and religion. Maybe you'll think twice next time. And so I did it for a very specific reason. And
Nick, no one cares about your fucking religion, my man. No one cares.
No, but think
you
of
go out there and scream, "I love
about...
Jesus" all day and night. No one cares about that. We heard your
Hold on.
other fucking views and the way you talk on your fucking streams. Now have a grown man that's running for some sort of political position, and someone could just show him the mixtape and say, "This is the guy you're associated with." It's not the big him up. It's gonna make him look bad. Is he just unaware of that? There's no way he's unaware of that, right? It's like the tone deafness of all that. It's crazy. You don't see that? You don't tell me, like, I can make a mixtape in like 10 minutes of you if I wanted to. Easy. 10-second clips, 20-second clips. I'm like, hey, do you want this guy in your office? You want this guy in your governor's office, in your senator's office, in your president's office? Do you want this guy around? And it'll work. Because people are just naturally like, ew, when they hear that shit. Except for the, weirdos on the internet. I'm sorry. I thought he was aware of that. It's like, he wasn't, winning a game by beating you up. He was taking the weight off himself by letting you go. Most likely. I don't care what fucking language he puts it in. That's just obvious. Like, that's the thing where Tucker had a point, although I don't just automatically call Nick a Fed because of what Tucker was saying. Of like, oh, look, you're like David Duke. But that point still lands. Yeah, David Duke supporting someone makes them look weird. It does. But, if they're like, I don't even know this guy, so whatever. That's much different than, yeah, this guy campaigned for me. I worked alongside of him. He has my phone number. That looks way different, my man. How are you not seeing that? And once again, if you made it all about Catholicism, yes, some of the lefties will care about that because they don't like religion in their politics and all that shit. I understand that. But that was already the case. Once you bring in the race and the, Israel and all the way you go about it, Nick, yeah, expect people in your own party to be like, yeah, we can't fuck with this guy. Just like David Duke. Has he not see that? I wonder if he's in like some spot where it's like he can't change. Right? Where it's like he has these fans, but he has these past things he said, right? And if he says, you know what, guys, I disavow all my past statements about whatever race and multicultural, whatever the fuck he says, right? I disavow these things. He loses those fans now. But he can't get the stink of the shit he said before off of him. He can't get it off of him. It'll follow him everywhere. I wonder if he's aware of that. It's like, what do you do? What do you do? He did like a little thing against. Hey guys, why are we blaming Israel for this? Like, what's going on? This is stupid, right? He said something like that, and now people were like, "Yo, fuck you, Nick Fuentes." They started saying, "Fuck you." Some of these people just kept it Catholic, bro. You'd be chilling. You'd still have adversaries, but at least you'd be chilling now. You'd probably be up on stage with Candace, Candace and Charlie Kirk and Tucker Carlson. Probably be in their world right now. But no one wants to touch the guy who's like, what about these black guys? Like, no one wants to fucking hear that, dude. It's like lame. Like, no one wants it. It's exhilarating for corners of the internet, but it's not going to be feasible for most people don't want to see themselves in that fucking world or on that team. But yeah, Nick makes some points, but these other things, they suck. So I can't really join them, but maybe I can interview him. It'll boost my fucking viewership. But I can't be like, I endorse Nick Fuentes for president of the United States. I endorse Nick Fuentes for senator of this, or, House representative of this, or governor, or mayor, or anything. They can't do it. As you talk to Tucker Carlson right now, he can't endorse you, dude. He can't do it. Israel ain't worth that much. Can't do it. He said literally against his faith. Literally. He can't do it. Go ahead.
For the last 30 seconds of what he said, No, I'm not saying maybe play it again, but not necessary. If you flip it on its head and he's saying all this stuff about white nationalists, you flip it on its head and you say something that's like black power. And he hears of this and he like listens to it and says, okay, I'm gonna examine what he's saying.
Mhm.
He'd be the first guy that's against the guy that's doing black power. If you just copy and paste it and flipped it to black power, Nick would be the first guy to be like, look at this motherfucker calling all these fucking black power things.
Yeah, he probably would. But like his version would actually look like a black guy saying, "We need to take this country over for ourselves." Right? We need to force multiculturalism everywhere. Right?
Well, if you look at black people's actual history, they did a lot of good things for America's power, or culture.
I'm saying, like think of the black version of
No, I mean I'm
Nick's
quoting
ideas.
him. I'm just putting black power in where he said white nationalists. I'm quoting what he said in the last 30 seconds.
Fair
I
enough.
just flipped it to black power.
Fair enough.
He would lose his shit on that.
Fair enough. But there would be a point to like someone saying that. Most people might look the other way, right? Versus the way Nick goes about things in regards to favor of white people. Like that would be like toxic off rip. Now is that fair?
Yeah, I mean,
no. But are they equally stupid? Yes. Yes. If a black dude or black woman's like, you can't date a white person, like talking to their fans, like you shouldn't be mixing races. They said that, be like, you're a fucking idiot. But they would have more leeway on the large scene of the political, theater, right?
I don't think
people would just
Nick
look the other way. They'd be like, I
Fuentes-
don't want to see that.
I don't think Nick Fuentes would bring up mixed race. Nick Fuentes.
No, he
I
hasn't.
don't think Nick Fuentes would touch the topic of mixed race.
He does, though. And I understand what you're doing with his last name. I know.
Nicholas Fuentes.
I know. But I'm saying he still says it anyways. He goes there anyways.
So he does. Does he bring up that he is the shameful bastard he's referring to?
That's how dedicated he is. Playing big.
Does he throw himself under the bus?
Does he curse his own existence? I don't know. I mean, see, even like if he went cultural, that'd be better. Like that would look better. I don't care about race. I care about we want Christian belief. One man to one woman, no gays, no this, no that. That's mainstream now. Marriage is between a man and a woman, right? And men can't be women, women can't be men. That's already mainstream. Already. He'd be flying high right now, bro.
He's touched that.
But he went too.
He's addressed that.
Dude, he's went too far, Jared Taylor. He's went too far that direction. Yes. And that's what Candace pulled his card on and kind of like embarrassed him in front of everyone with. But he can't take it back either. If he takes it back, he loses the little corner of the internet he already has a hold of right now. In fact, he probably has to lean into it. But let's be honest, most of the people that will, on these bigger networks or bigger channels or whatever, that would interview him, they're not going to bring that up. Candace did because, like, she pulled the knife out. That's why. She's like, I'm going to knock you down a peg, too. Watch this. Tucker is probably less conniving than that, so he's going to be nice. Maybe they bring it up, but he won't press him on it, probably. But, all right. Let's continue. Here we go. Good.
I get that. What I do think is bad, just objectively bad and destructive, is the all Jews are guilty or all anybody is guilty of anything, because that's just like not true. And we don't believe that as Christians. My hero in life.
That's not what Nick thinks
Paul.
either. I think it's DNA, which doesn't make sense.
Saul of Tarsus, a Pharisee.
Yeah.
And meets Jesus and becomes this just incredible man, incredibly brave, smart, loving, like everything you want to be as a man, he was. Jew.
Yeah.
So like, and God did that to him. So it's like, you can't, I think that's and I don't think it's like mushy liberal bullshit, which I hate.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate all the language that you're describing. I get why it offends you because it's code for, I don't really believe what I'm saying.
Right.
I have a PhD in the subject, so I know. But I also think there's like a true, not just principle, but like spiritual reality that we have to defend, which is God created every person as an individual, not as a group. No woman gave birth to a community.
PhD in
I
that.
hate that kind of
believing
thinking,
what you
right?
say.
Collectivist thinking like that. That's identity politics. That's what Dave Rubin engages in. That's why Dave is like just a child. Like you don't pay any attention to Dave because he's like shallow.
He's also an idiot.
But we're not going to be that, right? Or no?
No, I completely agree with you. And
except for marriage, though.
Like, and not to be that guy and say that
or
thing,
dating.
but like, my best friend is a Jewish person.
No,
you know,
I
so
know,
like, but here's my substantive disagreement because as a Catholic, I could not agree more with you.
Yes.
In what you're saying. I love all people, even the ones that don't like us. We have to love them all, and we have to recognize that
we're required to.
Yes. And especially Aquinas says the Jews are a witness people. And so they actually have special protections under the law, according to Catholic philosophy. But I guess my substantive disagreement, which I've said on the show also, is the idea that neoconservatism and Israel has nothing to do with Jewishness, Jewish identity, the Jewish religion, because clearly the state of Israel and the neocons are deeply motivated by that ethnic identity, and their allegiance to Israel proceeds from that. You know, the plan of greater
so your
Israel.
answer is to do the same thing?
The blood and soil nationalism of Israel. It stems from this ethno-religion, which is Judaism.
Well, this is, just BLM, the new version. This is identity politics. They're engaging in identity politics. I mean, that's just so obvious to me. But the problem in your response, I get what you're saying, but the problem in your response is it does not apply to every individual.
No, and I would never say that.
Okay. Well, I just think it's important to say that, not to kind of like dodge the accusations against you. My best friends are Jewish. Like, okay, I agree. Embarrassing, even though it's probably true. And it's true in my case, actually. But whatever. But because just that principle,
you know a bunch of Jews
judged as individuals by what we do, that our faith, the decisions that we make, the way we live our lives, and God will judge every one of us in that way, and that's how we're supposed to judge. Like, I think that's true.
Yeah, and I totally agree. But I guess the disagreement is, you say identity politics like it's a bad thing. I think identity is a reality.
Identity is a reality. Absolutely. You just can't have a country of 350 million this diverse where it's just like warring ethnicities, because then it's Rwanda soon. And, the people with the most force just kill the others. So, like, you can't have that here.
What?
Right?
Yeah, but I would say specifically.
Wait, did he just slip in? Did Tucker just slip in if we're not all with the same, like, culture? We're just going to war and kill each other.
I'm not sure.
Yes,
I'm more
united culture.
I'm more listening to what Nick's saying in regards to Tucker's trying to he's sweating his way through this. He's dancing around this thing, right? He's trying to
look at him grab his arm.
They both agree with each other the whole time.
Yeah, look at the way Tucker sits. He is fucking freaking out.
And Nick's is very different. Like, he said, Tucker's saying you need to judge individuals as individuals, right? Nick's saying, well, identity is who that is not who, like, the individuals can recognize it wherever the fuck they want to. That's what God is judging, is it not? Not judging your fucking clothing, is he? Judging your character. Then you have to find out, where's your character come from? Did you just borrow it from daddy? Did you borrow it from mommy, or both? Did you borrow it from your friends, from school? From a guy on the internet? From an influencer? Where'd you get your character from? God has to judge something, right? And if you realize, like, okay, well, this guy never even started in the first place. He's just been borrowing ideas all left and right, all over the fucking place. Nothing original, nothing from real tenacity, real ferocity, real fucking authentic behavior. nothing arrived to from real behavior. Thus, he's like, what do I judge? What do I judge? I just repeat back to the person, like, hey, you borrowed this, you borrowed this, you borrowed this, you borrowed this, you borrowed this. That seems to be what you are, apparently, because you don't want to be yourself. So identity, I'd have to find out what he means by identity. It can't be race. It can't be race, right? Right? I know all different types of races doing all different types of things. Some are skaters, some are scientists, some are dropouts, some are potheads, some are scholars, some are this, some are that. Some are religious, some are not. All different races, all doing these different things. And you could see their uniqueness. You could see it when you engage with people. You could see their uniqueness. And I'm like, you're telling me God's going to look past that for what suit you're wearing? Nick? What your haircut is? What building you going to get on your knees and say, I praise God? Come on. The master of the universe is looking at your fucking skin tone. Stop it.
I don't think these two at all are coming into discussion with the same ideas, but I'm seeing Tucker either. I'm not sure if he's bending to Nick's ideas or
Hey, Joe Roganing a bit.
just well, that was the other thing.
Being
Well,
nice.
I was gonna say Joe Rogan, or if he's doing Joe Rogan, because I think Joe Rogan's very insincere about it, or like he'll just say and agree and just find a way to like just have a harmonious conversation, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe he's finding common ground. That would be a little bit different, I think, from Joe Rogan's. But um, but that's what I'm watching. Like they're not starting at the same place, but they're just kind of unifying in their ideas right now. That's what I'm watching.
Well, if Tucker wanted to really find out what's going on, you'd say, like, what do you mean by identity? What does that mean exactly? That's the question you would obviously go to. What do you mean by identity? Because Tucker said, yeah, it kind of is about identity. Like, well, what do you mean by that? Do you mean the Google search? Do you have your own definition? What do you guys all like? Seriously, like that's where he should go. But I guess we'll find out. Or Knick fans will thumbs this part down without having any type of rebuttal or response to it, obviously, because
Jesse, they're gonna have conflict when they talk about whose dad has been in the CIA longer.
Yeah, they're gonna work it out.
Yeah, they're gonna agree
I'd love to hear their
they joined the
definition.
same year. Yeah.
Because even in the Nick with Candace interview, Nick didn't go in there to stir things up. Like as from what I saw, he thought he was. It looked like he was trying to just talk and actually like almost join forces, right?
Spill his guts.
But then things got like really turned on him. He got caught by surprise.
Yep.
I think this one, he's coming in the same way, and I don't think Tucker's gonna like surprise him. He's not doing the same thing to his face that he was doing, with Candace. So.
Oh no! See, Nick's prepared for that this time, so
Yeah,
that
well,
changes the whole method that it's going to be done, if at all.
Okay.
She's got a very different style. Like, but yeah, of course, he's going to be prepared this time in case he does.
I'm still stuck on the
He already
logic
knows
of
his
it.
arguments from before.
I'm still stuck on the logic of Nick Fuentes, to be honest with you. It's, I assume character is a part of identity. And I believe, according to Nick, identity is attached to your race/genetics. And those are inherited, right? Do you inherit your character? How's he going to square that one in front of Tucker? That's why you ask him, like, what do you mean by identity? Is character a part of identity?
Tucker already gave him Tucker already gave him his out and like moved on. You saw him grabbing his arm when he said that stuff. Like he was freaked out by the way he was talking.
I'm just saying logically.
He already let it go.
Okay, but I'm just saying, like, here's the argument I might say is like, okay, well, if character isn't attached to identity, but identity is attached to race and genetics, then you wouldn't have a problem with a black woman with a white man with a Hispanic woman, Hispanic man with a white woman, whatever. You had no problem with that at all. Because it's not about your genetics, it's about your character, right? But
no,
I would think
they inherit.
Oh, they inherit.
They inherit half. They inherit half the recipe to tacos and half the recipe to hamburgers.
Okay. Either way, I would put that logic in front of Nick and make him answer for it and be like, hey, man, just remember, in 10 years, I don't want to hear you saying, man, I messed up 10 years ago. I don't want to hear that shit. All right, that's me being mean. You can say that in a nice way. Like, you want to be able to be consistent because the point is to follow God, right? That is the point. Is it not? That sounds mean, too. Whatever. Let's keep playing and see where they go. I'm sure it's just gonna like a mini tornado, like you see like on a breeze on a windy day, like in a parking lot. See some dust kick up and it looks like a little mini tornado. It just fizzles away, right? That's where I expect this to go. But hopefully it actually goes somewhere. But here we go.
People with the most force just kill the others. So like, you can't have that here, right?
Yeah, but I would say specifically as it pertains to, you, I think, have said it's the neocons, and I think that neoconservatism, where does it arise from? It arises from Jewish leftists who were mugged by reality when they saw the surprise attack in the Yom Kippur War.
Yeah, that's a lot of it for sure. But then, like, how do you explain Mike Huckabee, Ted Cruz, and there are a lot like that. John Bolton. I mean, I've known them all.
Donald Trump.
W. Bush, like Karl Rove.
Donald Trump? Is he afraid to say his name? Let's find out.
I mean, all people I know personally who I've seen like be seized by this brain virus, and they're not Jewish.
They were seized by it.
Most of them are self-described Christians, and then the Christian Zionists who are, well, Christian Zionists. Like, what is that?
Right.
And I can just say for myself, I dislike them more than anybody. Because like, what? Because it's Christian heresy, and I'm offended by that as a Christian. That's why. So I don't, like, why not? Like, I'm pissed at the neocons, very pissed. I've said that a million times. I've been mad since December of 2003 when I went to Iraq. And so, like, I went and asked straightforward questions to Ted Cruz because that seemed like there's a sitting senator who's like serving for Israel by his own description. He seemed like a worthy target. I'm not going after MTG, who's like the most sincere like, why not go after Ted Cruz? I don't understand.
Well, again, with Marjorie, I was a friend of hers, and she spoke at my conference, and then the day after, she pretended like she didn't know me. And that was in 2022.
But it's a continuum. Like you said yourself, you showed up in college like one.
Look at her. What did she do? Why are we doing this for Israel, huh? She's complaining about Israel left and right. But what can't she square about you, Nick Fuentes? Did someone pull her aside and play her a mixtape? Like, here's his takes. And she's probably like, ew. Maybe. Or did she know your ideas and then turn her back on you? Maybe she used her platform. I don't know. But I'm curious. Someone should ask her that. Like, hey, what happened? Did you start seeing his other
Marjorie
views?
Taylor Greene isn't as enlightened as Nick Fuentes. You ever think about that?
I wouldn't consider either one of them enlightened in any form or fashion.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is like...
She looks good next to Ted Cruz, but is she that thing? Is she the thing? Is she the real fucking deal? We don't know that yet.
She's introductory class. Nick Fuentes is scholar.
Yeah, okay. Either way, we don't know if MTG is legit yet. We don't know that. But people are going to run around like it. They're going to run around like that, just like they run around like that with Bernie or AOC or some of these other people. They run around like they're the real deal because they compare them to people like Ted Cruz and Hillary Clinton. Instead of like looking at them as individuals And when you look at someone as an individual, you can ask them questions as an individual to find real answers. But if you're just going to, once again, essentially just play politics, you're not going to get anywhere. But let's keep playing. I think we keep pausing too much. Here we go.
Instead of views, they evolve as you interact with reality, as the reality itself changes, as like you learn things, you grow, like whatever, people change.
Well, and look, now that everyone agrees with me, I will graciously forgive them for being.
You're late, Nicky boy.
So hostile.
You're quite late, Nicky boy.
Who cares?
You're young, so
it's not personal for me. Like with Marjorie, if she wanted to, be aligned or whatever, I would totally be on board with her.
But where do you disagree?
Why do you need to be aligned?
I don't know, because I don't know what her new views are. She's really only come around on Israel this year, and I've been talking about this issue for 10 years. And
right, okay. All right, you win, but like,
no, but it's not like that. It's just, it's a little, it feels like BS to me that, and I said this on Twitter the other day, it's like I got treated like I didn't exist.
Right, I get it.
Canceled for 10 years for saying these things. And that's really where all this drama comes from. A time when there was this
Tucker's only been a year too,
censorship, and nobody was on board with this stuff. Like, again, Marjorie, she fired one of my people was working in her office. She fired that guy because someone found out that a Groyper was working in her office. And, that guy got his life ruined. And she pretended like she didn't know me and lied and said, I had no idea the conference I was speaking at. She knew exactly what it was. And that's fine. But now that she's on the same page, there's like this expectation like, okay, well, why did you have a problem with her in the past? It's like, because she was on the other team in the past.
Yeah, well, so was everybody.
Yeah,
I mean,
so now
so are you.
Yeah,
so what? I mean, what? Why not? It's got to be bigger than just like us, right? And it's not. I don't think. Well, I'll speak for myself. I don't feel like I'm at war with the neocons or Israel. It's much bigger than that. It's like you want to restore America to a
tightly
place where
hugging himself.
Enjoy growing up. That's it.
Yeah,
he kind of does that.
And as far as Marjorie,
so it's not who cares.
What?
You should care, Tucker. You have to analyze every little. Like, this is too important. Like you guys have both been talking about or been aware of to some degree is the whole Gaza situation, right? It does matter if they show up one day in the White House, like, yeah, we got our person in, and they turn their backs and they start blowing children up. So yeah, it is important to find those details. If it's for like, hey, we're just hanging out to have brunch, okay, fine, maybe you don't care so much. They're not running for office, or they're just a friend you hang out with, and they got some views I may like, some I don't like. Fine, but in this shit, it's like, I mean, even with your friends, you should care about their character, right? But in this situation, like, there's no time for games. There's no time for pleasantries. If you do the quote unquote right thing, you don't need a fucking parade, not a hand clap. You don't need a fucking handshake either. Say, all right, let's keep it moving. What's next? What are we working on next? I don't need a fucking trophy. So yes, it all matters, Tucker. You have to care about all of it. That's the point. Some say that's the point of life, to care about everything you do. Every little thing you do.
I think he's showing some very strong body language where
I think he does that.
It's almost like he's, like he knows that he was in the same position of what he's, like the things that he's saying about Marjorie Taylor Greene's, like applied basically to Tucker. And so he's still trying to keep it friendly.
But it applied. He was right though. It applies to Nick too. It applies to Nick too. Granted, he was a younger kid, so they'll give him that excuse. But it does apply to him. And guess what? I still don't think Nick's made it yet. By the way, people have been talking about this shit forever and ever and ever. These topics, like, what about Israel? What about USS Liberty? What about this and that? Like, people have been talking about that for a long time. So they don't, like, a lot of people were not sensationalizing it the way Nick does. Nick sensationalizes it to such a degree that, it almost becomes like toxic to touch for some people. Not for me. I can look at anything I feel like, but some people it's maybe too much for them. But either way, I don't think it's about his Israel views, by the way. I don't think that's the thing of why someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene, like, I can't fuck with this guy. I can't be around this guy. He can't be a part of what I'm doing. It's not the Israel things. She's in Congress saying these things about Israel, like politically. Once you start diving into the racial stuff, that's going to be off limits. No, Marjorie Taylor Greene wants a black boyfriend. Come on. Y'all know this. Come on, son. We know this.
So does Nick.
I know a Brave fan. Nick does too. Oh, fuck. What do you say? I find black girls pretty attractive. I just can't, I can't do it. It's like, why? Identity.
He's not up for it. They steal my money.
Like, what if you guys like the same personality? Just she looks different than you. I can't do it. Can you imagine that?
He gets done with it. He gets so swirly.
Watch. A rickety air conditioner falls out of a window and kills Nick Fuentes. He goes to heaven, and God's like, I sent you like your soulmate. You look past her. Yeah, that hot black chick, that was your soulmate. I sent her to you.
Oh, fuck.
No, stop it. No. Stop joking with me, God. Nah, bro, I sent her right to you. Like that's the only time. That's the only time in history I've ever done that. I sent them right to you. You rejected them. No. Oh fuck! Can you imagine? You imagine Nick's ancestors. People were like, "We need to get these people out of our country." Nick's ancestors. People were telling his ancestors to leave the fucking country. Get the fuck out of our country, huh? Fuentes? Get the fuck out.
No, he's telling us.
He's not saying get out of the country, but he's also saying don't. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure, his ancestors broke something, bro. Someone in that Fuentes line mixed race with someone and broke the cardinal rule of their great grandson or something. Whatever the fuck it is. That's hilarious. I identify as Italian. Oh, you can do that now, huh? Well, you were born quarter Mexican, bro. No, but I recognize as Italian.
You're like a very light-skinned Mexican now.
Gonna take pills to lighten the skin up even more. Be a ghost running around here. All right, here we go.
What, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
okay, lots of people hurt my. If Dave Rubin called me tonight, which he would never do, though he has my cell, and said, I'm really sorry I called you Hitler. Like, I didn't mean it. You're raising lots of legitimate questions, which I think I sort of agree with or am thinking about in a deeper way. I'd be like, great.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care.
And look, Tucker, that's why I'm sitting here.
What if we agree to disagree?
I mean, because we had a contentious dialogue.
Well, I thought you were a Fed. I
thought you were a Fed.
I was a Fed.
Yeah.
I'm not a Fed. But whatever. I don't care what people think.
We showed each other a badge as we know well.
No, but I thought you were a Fed because I was like, why not? It's not cucking to say you're not talking about all Jews when you oppose a foreign policy position. It's not. There's nothing liberal about that. It's just true. That's the Christian position. Okay. And two, why are you attacking like the best people and not the worst people?
Well, yeah. I mean, again, he disavowed me for my views on Israel and said I talk too much about white people and Christianity. And to me, that's like a sincere ideological disagreement.
I get it.
And, same thing with Marjorie. Marjorie fired my guy. She disavowed me. And, and you
around.
Worked with Blumenthal on that article. But you called me on the phone and we talked.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, what? From my perspective, this is all so stupid and inside baseball and whatever. But for the record, I was like, first of all, who is this kid? I'm working at Fox News. I'm aware there's an internet, but I'm more out of it than you may appreciate. And I'm like, out of nowhere, attacking this one. I had Joe Kent here to my house and did this interview with him. And I'm always in search of a sincere politician. Don't have to agree on everything, but I really believe sincerity is the whole game. If someone's heart is pure, he will be brave.
How do you know that?
I have thought that.
And you know if they
turned
do
out to
have
be
that?
true. Marjorie's a perfect example.
Take a guess.
And that's all that matters. If you're afraid inside, if you're weak inside, you will crumble when it matters. So I really felt like, wow, Joe, don't agree with him on everything, of course, but I was like, this guy is really sincere. He's like a good person. And then you show up and you're like, he's a CIA officer and he was a CIA contractor, but like really like crush the guy. And it's like, why of all people, you agree on 90% of stuff? That was my view. And I was like, well, clearly this kid's a Fed.
Right. But you didn't know the whole story.
I didn't. You're absolutely right.
And look, and now that, and I want to be, I'm not trying to be combative. I think that.
Go ahead. I'm not, you're hurting my feelings.
No, I mean, here's what I'm trying to say is now that Marjorie is pushing in the right direction, I absolutely support everything she's saying. And I've not been critical of her at all this year.
Yeah.
Because I think that what she's doing is extremely courageous. And I think you're right. She is sincere.
So it sounds like you're, not to put words in your mouth, but your life experience has left you so stung by the Republican establishment. You don't trust anybody, it sounds like.
Well, no, I mean, these
that
people
Tucker
attacked me when the rules were different, and now they got better, and now I'm good with them.
I mean,
I'm willing to be good with them, but
we're all woodsmen here.
I think that I don't know if Marjorie still has a problem with me or not.
I don't know. I do know, though, and this is the last criticism I will level, and it's maybe not even your fault, but I do know that, the coordinated attacks against totally reasonable questions about what's in America's interest and what's not, those are all coordinated by the Israeli government. It's all come to light now. And they're against me. I've always thought I have the world's most moderate position on Israel. Don't hate Israel. Just don't want to get involved in their wars. Don't want to pay for this. Don't want to pay for abortion on demand in a foreign country. So.
What?
Can Rudy Yogurt get 8 rebuilds?
Oh, God. Okay, so now we're going to do the Israel topic. And it sucks that it's the Israel topic when, I mean, if you just look at U.S. foreign policy, it's incredible to focus strictly there. Like, once again, if you make Israel disappear with the snap of your finger, you still have entanglements globally. Global entanglements. It's like it's. I don't see how it's. Yes, it's a little bit with media-wise, a little bit overbearing when it comes to Israel, for sure. But in the actual geopolitics, America isn't sacrificing everything just to help Israel out. It's the American government, the Israeli government, the Saudi government, the Europe, the EU, UK governments, random satellite fucking governments in Africa. South America, in the East too as well, although Russia's kind of dominating that area, but we still have Ukraine, and other countries over there. I mean, come on. It's like they are in the globe all over the fucking place. All over the place. We help Israel with a genocide, we help Saudi Arabia with a genocide. If Ukraine could genocide Russia, which they can't, but if they could, we'd help them with that. Let's just be honest. If Colombia stayed an ally and we fucking got them to fuck up Venezuela for us, we'd fucking do it. Like, come on.
Tucker,
I think the U.S. actually cares about
Trump's
Taiwan.
got nothing to do with it, though.
Oh, okay.
We'll see how much he mentions Trump on this topic.
You think the U.S. has some the U.S. is one of our greatest allies, Taiwan and Hong Kong. You really think that's the case? It's not. It's about business. And you're not a part of it. But when you sensationalize one thing over everything else, guess what's going to happen? You're going to forget about the other things that are happening out there. Straight up. There's so much fucking corruption around this motherfucker. And it feels like these guys only scratched a tiny bit of the surface. Incredible. But all right, here we go.
Those are all coordinated by the Israeli government. It's all come to light now. And they're against me. I've always thought I have the world's most moderate position on Israel. Don't hate Israel. Just don't want to get involved in their wars. Don't want to pay for this. Don't want to pay for abortion on demand in a foreign country. Sorry. When we're cutting food stamps on our own, that's outrageous. It's not America first. That's my view. I'm not embarrassed of it at all. They are totally determined to take me out, I think because I'm reasonable. Who would disagree with that? And call me all these names, the most dangerous anti-Semite, when I'm not even an anti-Semite. And they're not doing that to you because, this is my view, and this is not necessarily your fault, but because they're like, Fuentes discredits the reasonable people because he's always banging on about the Jews. And so he makes everyone else look like a Nazi. And so it's like he's playing a pretty valuable role in the same way that Israel has always funded extremism throughout the Middle East, including Hamas, because it discredits the reasonable people. That's a fact.
And the U.S. does that. Probably tenfold, probably. In fact, we probably instruct Israel to do such things. Let's be honest. As teammates, as strategical teammates, it's either Israel's like, all right, yo, U.S., we're going to do this. What do you think about that? Yeah, it's a good idea. Do it. All right. Or it's like, yo, Israel, this is the U.S. Yeah, do that shit. We want you to do this because this will help out our whole game plan. Thanks, bud. See you later. We heard the opposition in Israel talk, by the way, which is kind of a crazy statement. Like, they're gung-ho for destroying Gaza, just like we have here. If Harris was in office, guess what you would see? Very, very similar. Like, I mean, inches away from each other, similarities in regards to our foreign policy. Straight up. Maybe a little bit more given towards Ukraine, a little less to Israel, but still. Same game plan. And, I mean, you need no further proof than fucking Syria by itself. Or Venezuela, if you want to go there. It's just blatant. Blatant, right in your face. Blatant. But we end up getting caught up in these kind of political silos of, intellectually just like stuck in a certain area. Instead of like, yo, I take out corruption wherever the fuck I see it. Intellectually. And I'm going to remember that. I'm going to remember this event over here so that I can call it back to myself when needed. But if you're going to do the Ian Carroll shit where you're like, man, who were Charlie Kirk's donors? And you skip everyone that's not Jewish or Israeli or pro-Israel or whatever. What do you end up with? You end up skipping these might be the big names, maybe some of the other names they like really deal with. Maybe these guys are more present than these other people over here. When you do, you end up making yourself, maybe dishonest isn't the word, but maybe I would say ignorance is. I'd say ignorance is the word for that. And it's all for the sake of, you don't even know who's the driver of that. Right? Tucker, new to the topic. Ian Carroll, new to the topic. Candace Owens, new to the topic. Guess what? Nick Fuentes, new to the fucking topic. These guys are new. And now they're the thought leaders. The same thing that Tucker just said, hey, yeah, if we let Nick Fuentes rise, it'll discredit the rest of us. Meanwhile, people were probably screaming that at Tucker for years and years and years. And he probably batted them away. Right? And then, let's be honest, it's probably mostly, quote-unquote, left-leaning. Right? Who was doing BDS on college campuses? Probably the left-leaning people. With some, a couple right-wingers, maybe libertarian types, if you will. On the mainstream stage, who was it? It was like the Noam Chomskys and the Cornel Wests and people like that. They're speaking up against what Israel does before October 7th. Obviously, a lot of years before October 7th. But once again, if you hear Nick's origin story here, you probably cut off half the fucking research because it's the wrong team's names. I can't look at Noam Chomsky. I'm not calling Noam Chomsky some sort of hero or intellectual giant for us to just, fall at his feet and bow and pray. It's more so did he say information that, could be used right now in 2025? Yes, he did. He had access to Alan Dershowitz to where he could debate him. They could bring up the crimes of Israel. Norman Finkelstein, Cornel West, and guess what? There's people before them. So it's no wonder you fucking guys are so late. Way late. Way late. Once again, I'll be forgiving the Nick. He was a kid. Or 18 years old. Although he jumped on board a team immediately. I don't have that mistake with me. Maybe I'm just fortunate, or maybe I had a fucking brain or something. Maybe I wasn't looking for cookies.
Oh, you're definitely on a team. Don't lie to the fucking audience.
Yeah, go ahead.
Bernie, bro.
You like the rest do. You have to lie to give yourself a case. Go ahead.
I ain't lying.
Yeah, we know. People know already, Dubster. It's too late. Your name is now infamous. But yeah. Like, you missed out on a whole bunch of shit just by cutting off that team playing in the first place. What'd they do? Nick kept playing the team playing thing. Thus, he's still missing information. Still missing out on shit. While carrying baggage. Tucker, still missing out on shit while carrying baggage. This is where we're at. These are our intellectual giants. It's incredible. Incredible. What I love about this Discord is that if there was 18 people in here that are around randomly, but let's say they're all in here at the same time, right? If I have Nick or Tucker or both in this Discord, they will get questions from 360 directions, bro. That's just 18 random people in my Discord. Isn't that crazy? Ideas they've never heard of from randoms on Discord. But yet these guys have research teams, they have producers, they have all this shit. And somehow they still ride one side of the tracks only. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Well, you ever heard of USS Liberty? Some random will pop up like, yeah, I heard of it. Here's all the research I did. And you find out Nick didn't do too much. Well, what about Iran, 1979? Someone will have something else over there. It's like where do you go? That's not me claiming to be like an expert at everything. It's just more so like engaging with quote unquote diversity of ideas, the real diversity that you're supposed to be having, right? But then again, we have to wait for these children to figure it out. How long do we wait for Tucker? How long do we wait for this guy who has had the mainstream light for many years now? We have to wait for him to figure out, like, hey, why are we giving all this money to Israel? And he's only at Israel still. He's barely anywhere else. Like, yo. These are our scholars of our times, I guess. Fuck my life. All right, whatever. Here we go.
Yeah.
I know, I'm sorry to bore you.
I would disagree. I mean, because you said the other day, they like me. I don't know what you're talking about when you say that, because
I don't know.
Let me just kind of rebut that.
Well, by the way, I'm not saying you have anything to do with this. I'm just saying I've noticed the phenomenon.
Totally. And I just reject that because they have been messing with me for my entire adult life. I mean,
Nick, they will use you. Let's be honest. I saw you back when the Tucker thing, was it? No. I think it was with you and Tucker and Candace thing. I think around that time, they were quoting you on mainstream lefty news networks. Like, here's a disgruntled Trump fan here, and they showed you. You played a beautiful role for them. What are you talking about, son? Or maybe they didn't say Trump fan. Maybe they said like I think they said right-wing influencer. I think is the words they use. A right-wing influencer, Nick Fuentes. Let me see if I can find that. To have some receipts with me, Might be able to find that.
And they intentionally left this context out?
Yes. Fuck, wrong button.
Okay.
No, wrong button.
Dude, marking it at 51.
All rigged, Anthony. It's all rigged. If I can find this. Oh.
Fuentes. Right-wing influencer Nick Fuentes went so far as to say MAGA is dead in response to President Trump's posts, blaming Democrats for fabricating the Epstein files. Fuentes wrote on social media, quote, "So now Trump is claiming the Epstein files are a Democrat hoax? LOL." Right-wing...
With no added context, right? Oh, maybe the clip goes on,
Yeah.
but that was enough for me, at least. Hey, come on, dude. That is funny, though. It's like, yeah. Granted, they're probably talking about a different idea, right? You know, the pro-Israel lobby using Nick as a... They boost him up so that Tucker looks more anti-Semitic or something because they look like they're on the same team. Got it. But anyways, here we go.
You have anything to do with this? I'm just saying I've noticed the phenomenon.
Totally. And I just reject that because they have been messing with me for my entire adult life. I mean, the ADL got me banned on YouTube. The SPLC posted my house on their website.
What do you mean posted your house?
They posted a photo of my house on their website.
How can they do that?
I guess that's a free speech thing.
The SPLC posted a picture of your house on their website?
Yes.
When?
In 2022.
Actually?
Yes, they wrote an article. They said Nick Fuentes bought a building in this city. And they said, we interviewed his neighbors and property records reveal this and that. And on the front page, the picture for the article is my house where I live.
That's crazy. And then someone showed up with a gun and tried to kill you at that house?
Yes.
And now I hope he moved. He just re-announced it. Right
That's
there,
why I say, you say, well, they're not doing this to you. It's like the ZOA, the SPLC, the ADL, the Daily Wire. All these groups have been on me for years. So that's news to me if they're really endorsing my activities.
It could just be my perception. But I guess what I'm saying is, as someone who thinks his own views are like completely reasonable, pass every smell test, you could x-ray my soul. I don't think there's a lot of hate in there. And to the extent that they do make me feel hateful, the people who attack me, I do like say prayers about it. We're not allowed to hate people as we forgive those who trespass against us. That's like our core prayer. So I just feel like it's I don't know. Am I being paranoid? I feel like going on about the Jews like helps the neocons. That's
what about my views do you think are unreasonable if yours are reasonable?
I think, again, I don't think it's cucky. I think it's reality to say that guilt is not inherited. Blood guilt is bad. One of the reasons that I'm mad about Gaza is because the Israeli position is everyone who lives in Gaza is a terrorist because of how they were born, including the women and the children. That's not a Western view. That's an Eastern view. That's a non-Christian. That's totally incompatible with Christianity and Western civilization. They say, oh, we're the defenders of Western civilization. Not with that attitude. You're not. Collective punishment is the enemy of Western civilization.
Yeah.
And how come so many quote unquote Christians from here, like they could just say they could just say the name. Doesn't mean they're that. It's not an Eastern idea. It's business. You fucking kidding me? We fund death squads in South America. Is that like what does that mean to Tucker? And the American government's been doing that for a long time. When the CIA sets up fucking, cocaine distribution centers in fucking Venezuela or Colombia or any place, maybe heroin in Afghanistan, giving guns to the cartel at the southern border. What is that?
Well, it was
you can't let them
Vietnam
claim
in
your
the
name.
60s.
Okay, what I'm saying is Tucker can't say I'm a Christian, but then watch their. Well, I'm just saying Tucker can't say I'm a Christian, watching their behaviors and say they're Christian too, because they say it out loud. That's to be actually believed. That's actually real, right? You can't just call them Christians, just like you can't call them, as far as the idea of Judaism religiously, you can't call them that. Is that what there's plenty of people that practice against what they're doing, using the same words like we're Jewish, we're against this. These guys are saying we're Jewish, we're with this. Same thing with other religions. Look at Islam. Like, come on. What the fuck are we talking about? Like, are we put on blind? Like, I understand. Maybe he is aware of this, but it's like, yo, say it. Add it there. Add it to the context, because that is there. There are guys that call themselves Christians, just like Nick calls himself Christian, just like you call yourself Christian, Tucker, that use it to bomb people. We see it daily. Why is it a big surprise someone else uses a different religion to do the same thing? We've already seen it. Crazy. It's crazy. How are we not noticing that? It's like, yo, what if they're just lying? How about that? What if they're just lying? They don't actually care about the religion at all. What if that's the case?
Are you telling me that sheep farmer in some village in the middle of some Muslim country doesn't want to blow himself up in Times Square?
Yes, I am saying that.
Oh, okay. Sure, it's not what. Sure, it's not his belief that is his destiny.
Oh my
get
God.
on a plane and go to DC and stand by some government building, blow himself up. Not part of the religion.
Who was saying that before, by the way? They were like, yeah, they just want to kill themselves. They want to kill everyone. They want to kill it. Like, then they signed a ceasefire. Like, or sorry, they've been begging for a ceasefire since the fucking thing started on October 7th in Gaza. Hamas has been begging for ceasefires because they don't want to just die.
But no, now you seen the commercials, political commercials about fucking Gaza lately? Look, Hamas is back in charge, and now they're killing Gazans.
Oh, okay, got it.
That's the commercials I'm seeing.
Well, they're taking advantage of Hamas being a bunch of fucking idiots. That's what they're doing. Taking advantage of that.
We have no idea who is doing what in the sense of this prison that some people still have guns in. And they... What a mask is just putting a fucking t-shirt over your fucking head and then going and killing somebody. We don't know that is Hamas. We don't know who that is.
Yeah, we don't know. But they do announce things every so often.
And what they're saying is this is a fucking betrayer that worked with Israel.
Yeah. And I'm sure they help themselves by executing them in the middle of the street.
No, but I'm saying they don't those people killing them do not necessarily have to be Hamas. They could be another agent that's working for Israel and killing this Palestinian that may or may not have worked with Israel, which kind of just feeds the accusation of Hamas. Like, these guys wearing masks aren't necessarily Hamas, but they do perpetuate the ghost of Hamas.
Fair enough, but I'm pretty sure it was Hamas doing that. I'm just pretty sure.
I have no clue one way or the other. I couldn't argue it.
Yeah, I don't know, but my best guess is yes, it was Hamas doing that. Like, just being honest. But all right, let's keep going, I guess. There we go.
And so I hate that attitude. It's genocidal. The current claims that I'm a cancer, from Ben Shapiro or whatever, we need to be excised from the body of conservatism is a genocidal position that it basically encourages violence, as they well know. The whole thing I hate. Mm-hmm. So like anytime you say a whole group of people is responsible for the sins of some of its members, like I'm out.
Yeah, but that's not my view.
It's not. Okay. So so tell me your views. Like rather than,
please,
you're one of those people, one of the reasons I wanted to meet you is you're one of those people who is defined by clips.
Yes.
And I'm one of those people also.
Yes.
Right? So I get it. So I'm going to just shut up and you tell me what you actually believe.
Yeah. Well, and listen, I mean, and I appreciate you saying that because that's just the reality of the media environment we're in. So I don't expect you to know all my views, but I mean, as far as the Jews are concerned, I think that, like I said, you cannot actually divorce Israel and the neocons and all those things that you talk about from Jewishness, ethnicity, religion, identity. And let me give you like a perfect example. So you say on your show that we need to treat Israel like any other country. And I sort of understand that in principle because Israel is another foreign country.
Yeah.
But Israel is unlike every other country in the sense that because the Jewish people are in a diaspora all over the world, there are significant numbers of Jews in Europe, but also in the United States. And because of their unique heritage and story, which is that they're a stateless people, they're unassimilable, they resist assimilation for thousands of years. And I think that's a good thing. And now they have this territory in Israel. There's a deep religious affection for the state. It's bound up in their identity, the story of the Exodus from Egypt, the promise of the land, all these things. So let's say in the United States, for example, somebody like a Sheldon Adelson, he's not Israeli. Is he an ideological neocon? Does he believe in the promise of democratic globalism? I don't think necessarily. His heart is in Israel. And it's because he is a proud Jewish person. And I guess what I'm saying is that if you are a Jewish person in America, you're sort of, and again, it's not because they're born, but it's sort of a rational self-interest politically to say, I'm a minority. I'm a religious ethnic minority. This is not really my home. My ancestral home is in Israel. There's like a natural affinity that Jews have for Israel. And I would say on top of that, for the international Jewish community. They're extremely organized, and many of them are critical of Israel or Israel's current government or the project of Israel. But I guess what they have in common, unlike, let's say, like Singapore, for example, is that they have this international community across borders, extremely organized, that is putting the interests of themselves before the interests of their home country. And there's no other country that has a similar arrangement like that. No other country has a strong identity like that, this religious blood and soil conviction, this history of being in the diaspora, stateless, wandering, persecuted, and in particular, the historic animosity between the Jewish people and the Europeans. They hate the Romans because the Romans destroyed the temple. That's why Eric Weinstein goes to the Arch of Titus and gives it the finger and takes a picture. We don't think like that as Americans and white people. We don't think about the Roman Empire in 2,000 years ago. They do.
It's my perfect example is like, is there a diaspora of any other people? Well, it would be white people in the rest of the world. As in when we went to Africa and took over some places, we didn't assimilate to their culture. They assimilated ours by force, as in taking over their country and being like white controlled. And then same applies to South America by the conquistadors. And then the English for North America. So it's just his logic kind of, well, no, like
colonization.
Everything he just said about Israel being a unique nation actually applies to European whites. For everywhere they went, they had a diaspora too. In the sense of when we went to those countries, we flat out conquered them. So we didn't have to worry about like playing politics at a lesser minority. We became the controlling minority of those places.
I don't think those are one of the things that you or Nick or Tucker want to say we for. Like, they did that, is what I would say.
I meant white people as in we.
Yeah. I wouldn't say we.
Well, what I'm
let me tell you this. Would they if you got in the way, would they kill you? They'd kill you, wouldn't they? If you got in the way of them trying to do that. Like, no, we can stay here and be a white nation. Let's say you said that. They'd kill you, right? They'd get rid of you. Right?
Who?
Those conquerors from back in the day. They'd kill you, right?
If I got in the way.
If you tried to rise up, listen, guys, we need to band together and stop them so that we can stay just a single white nation over here. We can stay to ourselves and do our own thing here. They'd kill you, wouldn't they?
Would probably put me on the front lines.
Or kill you. Got it.
Conquistadors literally means conquerors.
Yeah.
They were.
Yeah.
Or they'd
They
try to
were-
bankrupt you. They'd try to subvert you in any form or fashion, right? You're
But
in the way.
that was not. That's not
They-
what I was saying.
I know that's not what you're saying, but I'm saying, like, they're not you, is what I'm saying. Sure, you have, I guess, genealogical connection or skin color connection, whatever the fuck, but they're not you. I don't think you want to be. I don't think you want to be them either.
I'm not 200 years old.
Yeah, but it's still a special class of gangsters that get other people to do shit for them. And if you got in the way, they take you the fuck out.
You mean the players that make the choice of which country's next?
No. I mean, like the quote unquote conqueror, like the heads of states of these fucking places saying, "Get the army together and go take over this fucking place." That's not you, man.
That's not what I was.
That's not Nick either.
That's not what I was talking about with we. That was not what I was talking about with we in any sense. I meant
I know, but you should recognize
white people.
that shit. I'm throwing it out there anyways.
Man, I'm trying to say that he's saying the uniqueness of Israel being there's a diaspora everywhere else that has dedication to Israel. You could make the same argument for the whites that are not in Europe.
Sure. Sure, but once again, my idea is that the same thing that, like, oh, there's like a special Jewish connection here. Like, you saying the we thing right there sounds a little bit like that. And I'm like, you're not one of them. Maybe you weren't saying that, but I'm saying, like, the words can come off that way. I'm like, oh, you're not one of them. You're not.
Well, then that would be misinterpretation of what I just clarified.
That's a 0.1% of your population. It's not all of you out there. Sorry, it's not white people. It's these guys.
That always confuses me too. Like saying like white people in that way. It's like the reason I emphasize that they're conquistadors or conquerors. It's like either say pirates or closer to mercenaries. They really were mercenaries out for the king, right? Like and so they were out to kill and loot and plunder whatever they could take,
while being the winners of history, where they can say, "Oh, this guy was honorable sir, knighthood, whoever."
Yeah,
right?
so that was that was the way that. Okay, so they would do the dirty work, but in exchange for that, they would get like honors or or land or whatever.
Land and
like
titles.
They would give them slices of that, but they were straight up killers, and they kind of just did what they had to do. Like not had to do. Like they went out to take from people who are weaker and steal from them, and so. That's like I don't see that as a white thing, even though that's the way it's portrayed. Like this is the type of people that were sent out there.
Weaker or not organized, as in they have no idea that these ships are about to roll up.
Well, they don't have the technology. They don't have like they didn't even have horses when they didn't know what those were. So like they didn't have the guns. Yeah. So it was weaker from a more of a technological perspective, but.
Yeah, but we've seen guerrilla armies do some work in modern day wars, right? But it's just like if you don't even know it's coming, you're not even aware of this existing in the first place. Like, someone
like
just
it was so asymmetrical. I think it was like an army of like 200 or something. Like just slaughtered everybody with zero losses. Like they didn't lose a single person. It was just the weaponry was too much.
Well, these guys regionally were all fighting each other
and the training. And they were united as those 200. They had secret communications away from them. They were all in on it together. And that's what Nick's implying about the Jews, why he's talking about the diaspora. There is a united cause. He's generalizing like that. He's saying that all Jews are guilty. When Tucker Carlson instantly asked him, explain to me how they're not like a group. And he instantly goes in, well, they are a group.
Yes. And
they are united across the world,
which is not true.
I could say, going off of what he's saying, that's what I went into the whole. That's what you could say about white people. being dissimilar, even if it's not true.
You,
I
you
understand.
just
I wouldn't disagree with
When
extrapolated
they
that.
200
win,
people to an entire skin color. Like you
right?
said, well, yeah, those 200 people are united. Sure, they were on a mission together
Yeah,
to do things
And most
and
people had
under
no
yeah,
a
fucking
leadership.
clue they were doing that.
Does,
Let's be
doesn't
honest.
make everybody else like guilty of that.
right.
Like,
I I agree that not everybody else is guilty of it, but I'm saying what Nick is saying is, well, everybody in Spain chose to be part of Spain, so therefore they were in support of what the conquistadors did.
No, they were born there, right? So they had no choice. And like I said, if they stood
I get
against it, they get fucking
that's the
flogged in the
logical
streets, right?
answer, but I'm saying that's not what Nick's saying.
I know Nick's saying they have some sort of either subconscious or instinctual, thing in a direction. But who's he bring up? Eric Weinstein, another famous person. Like these guys are the tiny percent of a lot of people, right? Like Iran has its own council of Jewish people. Are they in on it? Are they there? Are they with that like that? Most Jewish people in America vote Democrat, which means they're against this neocon shit. At least like on paper. Right? Do they have a self-identity? Do a lot of people have conditioned self-identities in certain groups and shit like that? Of course. Doesn't mean they're all like, yeah, the neocon nature of things is like, it's actually part of the Jewish thing itself. Like, where do you see that at? Like, neocon is like notoriously known for like America, right? Then how come most American Jews are not with this neocon shit?
Well, Ben Shapiro would say they're voting against their interest.
Ben Shapiro would call them
And
fake
he has
Jews.
said.
No, he would call them fake
Yeah,
Jewish. Jewish in
he's
name
said
only.
both. He said both.
Exactly.
They're voting against their interests, and they are fake Jews.
And those guys don't fucking like Ben Shapiro. A lot of, like, let's just be honest. They're like, yo, fuck that guy. He's trash. He doesn't represent me. But he kind of claims to be, right? He wears the fucking yarmulke everywhere. He speaks a lot about his Jewish values and Judeo-Christian values and yada yada yada, right? He kind of claims to represent them, but he doesn't. Which is why examples that Nick or Tucker might bring up are going to be people like Ben Shapiro or Eric Weinstein or people like that. Not random Bob on the street. He gets no representation, does he? It's fucking nuts. Like I said, Iran, bro. They have a whole council of fucking, like a whole thing dedicated just for Jewish people, like in their government. Now, are they overly represented? No. Do they have the largest
They're
Jewish?
limited.
Do they have the? No, I don't think they're limited. I don't know about that.
No, they're allowed
probably-
to have They're allowed to have up to 2% of Congress members that are Jewish.
I'm sure they're limited to. Yeah, they're probably limited to some degree. I don't know about the
It's
amount of
2%.
people. It might be
It's
like limit
2%
of like you
of
can't be president here,
the
which is crazy
No,
as well.
you their version of like Parliament or whatever. They're allowed to have 2%, not less than 2%, not more than 2%. It's weird. It's
Yeah,
like written into the book.
and it's like you could say the same about Israel having like a certain percentage of like Arabs or Palestinians, right? A part of their actual country, right? Not in Gaza, not in the West Bank, but actually in the so-called state of Israel, right? So
Say it again.
there's
Palestinians.
Palestinian representation supposedly in the Israeli government, right? In their Knesset or their Congress, right? Pretty sure.
Okay.
But either way, it's like, yeah, it's like if you're watching only the main the main screens and not the real like regular life. He just said his best friend's Jewish. This is why I like correct. Does he have like I have a calling to go migrate to Israel? Maybe they would have that feeling if it wasn't so openly tyrannical over there. Maybe that would be the case. But I don't know. Either way, I think this is overly generalizing thing. Little Nicky boy, sippy cup Nick. But all right, it's his story. I guess it's an important story to hear. Let's hear it. The Gospel of Nick Fuentes. Here we go.
And so I guess that's really, and I don't think that's me saying the Jews, the Jews, the Jews. I don't think that's me being hateful. I don't think that's me being collectivist. I think that's understanding that identity politics, whether you love it or hate it, whatever you feel about it, it's a reality that we live in a world of Jews and Christians, of whites and blacks. These identities mean something to us and they mean things to each other, and we can't sort of wish them away. And it feels like white people.
Well, what are those qualities, Nick? And are they there under real circumstances, or is it like this is here to stay no matter what because of real circumstances? Or is someone forcing hands in certain directions? Someone putting a weight on the scale? You have to actually diagnose that. Otherwise, what's your fucking point? I thought you're a godly man. Not a social man, a godly man. Thus, I want to deal with the highest topic, the highest of highest topics. Right? You want to be able to.
You believe?
Come on. Nick wants to be able to go back in time. Well, I mean, I guess there still is slavery somewhere in the world today, right? Like Libya or something. But let's say he went back in time in American slavery. He wants to be able to be like, yo, this is stupid. Get rid of this. That's his answer for it, right? Slavery is dumb and immoral. Get rid of it. That should be his answer, right?
No. His answer should be, look, I built a gate around my house. Why are they coming near it?
Oh, my God. This would be his answer. It'd be like, this is stupid and it's immoral. I don't want anything to do with this. Get rid of it. But with this, he's like, well, that's the way the world is. Like, tell me that logic, Nick. It's like, it's actually, like, for me, I look at it like, that's stupid. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Forced diversity and, I guess, anti-forced diversity. Both stupid. It's pretty obvious, right? Want to get people of like mind to like is hang out and get along with each other. Guess what? That exists mixed with a whole bunch of different races. Whole bunch. It's already happening. That's why your shit's. That's why people walk away from your shit, Nick. That's why they walk away from that shit, bro. Because someone's got a daughter with someone from a different race, with someone who's like actually cool too. Not some asshole. They're like actually a cool person. They like them. It's like it's already happened too much. It's already too mixed. We already seen Michael Jordan and Muhammad Ali and shit like that, bro. We already have fucking Manny Pacquiao's. Like we already have these people here. There's already too many cultural icons of different races. It's too late. Can't put that back in the fucking bottle. Like, I should only date white people, or I should only date black people, or I should only date Mexican women, or Asian, whatever the fuck. I should only do this. It's already out the bottle, bro. And in fact, you're actually forcing it the direction you may not want it to go. It's called the Robert De Niro syndrome. Every white dude, when they hit 48 years old, they can't help but stare at black women. For Dubster, it started early.
So what? Wait, what? What'd you say?
You have early onset Robert De Niro disease.
What's that?
It's at some point, white men at a certain age can't help but stare at black women. It is what it is.
Yeah, some of them are hot. Some of them are trash. But the ones that are hot are really hot.
You have early onset De Niro disease.
I don't know what that means.
I suspect Nick already has it, by the way. That's my suspicion. But since he can't, his reputation won't allow him to date black women. He has to just stay unmarried completely for the rest of his life.
Oh, I can't date black women because they keep trying to rob me.
Oh my god.
He dates black dudes.
He looks for buff necks too. Oh shit.
So remember, Tucker Carlson's question was, Tell me how not all the Jews are in on a whole conspiracy thing equivocally. And he's like, all right, I'll tell you. What they are is in a conspiracy, all on the same page against all of us.
Yeah.
If you sum up what he's next said. Just like,
or like all for them, and in order for them to be all for them, they have to also take everyone else out in a way because they're threats to all of them. If that makes sense. But yeah. Okay. Good recap. Let's continue.
World of Jews and Christians, of whites and blacks. These identities mean something to us, and they mean things to each other, and we can't
Tucker's
sort of
like,
wish
"Not to
them
me, I don't
away.
care."
And it feels like white people
do you
and
do with
Christians are the only ones that do that.
There's no question about that. Your last point, for sure.
That is not true.
One of the reasons.
That's not true. Like, how do you let him say that? It's like, I'm sorry for pausing so much, but it's like, that's not true. Listen, every black dude that plays basketball or football, they want to see a white dude on the court that they can call white chocolate, bro. They want to be able to do that. But yo, this guy can hoop, bro. They like them more. Like they like them more than other black players. Like, yo, white chocolate. They become a fan favorite of black kids. You dummies, you buttheads. Yeah. Like I don't know where he's like maybe that I don't know where he gets that. Where does he get this from? Is his life only on the internet or something?
This is the theory that
The life that only lives on the internet.
This is what the reference to Hitler is of international Jewry. It's all Jews are in a conspiracy against all of us whites around the world, and pretty much anywhere they are, and they're trying to like take over the world via finance and make us all their slaves by trickery. They become the king's top accountant, and the term historically there is some like evidence to it. Historically, kings always had what was called the king's Jew or the first Jew or something.
It sounds
He
like
was
we're
the
in one of
top
Dubster's
accountant.
meetings right now. Go ahead, Dubster.
But there's no proof that every single Jew is in on it and wants this to happen. There may be a consortium of Jews that are doing this, but you can't prove that every single Jew is in on this and wants this to happen.
I think he would deny it if you said it that way. I think he'd say, "No, I don't believe that." But he said
that.
He just said everyone's working for their own groups except for whites and Christians. He just said that. I heard that one pretty clear.
Well,
it's
that's
like
dumb too.
That doesn't make any fucking sense, dude.
Right. Remember
what
the
fucking world do you live in?
control. Remember the control of the Pope over England and France? They would fight each other until the Pope said, "No, go to the Middle East and fight over there on each other's side." So he couldn't make sense of that logic.
I think this kid, once again, he's just like no street smarts type of kid. You could tell he's like a dweeby dude. You know, hasn't mixed around with different types of people before. You know, maybe he has as a celebrity, but he's around other celebrities. They got their money, they made it, so maybe it's like safer there. But like, no, it's not just. It's like I'm telling you, there's so many just regular fucking people out there, Nick, that you're just seemingly just unaware of, absolutely unaware of. It's only whites and Christians. Like, come on, dude. What the fuck?
He lives in Chicago.
Yeah, what part of Chicago?
The gated community
The white
part
Christian
where
part.
fucking $32 million for a fucking apartment. Said 95% white in Chicago. That's got to be fucking way on the outskirts of Chicago, right?
It's gotta be a suburb. Or I don't think he
Yeah.
grew up rich based on what he was saying.
I think he had a comfortable life.
It's probably a suburb.
I'd say it's that's comfortable to me. Probably which is probably upper middle class. Because if you move to like a regular place in America, not like around Chicago, I'm sure property's a lot cheaper. And then those areas, he'd probably have a lot nicer of a house, right?
He's probably talking $1 million house.
Maybe now.
Well, now.
Maybe back then, like
Now we could
400,000 or something. 200,000. Probably 300, 400,000 is like a decent like suburban house, right?
After COVID, I couldn't
now
tell
it's probably like $1 million.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you after COVID.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out one day. But here we go. Let's play more of this. I'm sorry for pausing, guys, so often, but it's just like says things, and I have ideas when he says them. Is what it is. But here we go.
And we can't sort of wish them away. And it feels like white people and Christians are the only ones that do that.
There's no question about that, your last point, for sure. One of the reasons they do that is because they've been taught to hate themselves, of course, since the Second World War. Another reason is, however, the reality of a multi-ethnic country requires you to sort of set aside community or group interests in favor of corporate interests, universal interests, national interests. And you have to do that or else it doesn't work. And so, I agree those attitudes. I mean, certainly in other parts of the world, people think this way, but you can't have that here. And so it's just important to remind everybody that, things may be generally true, but like, again, they're not always true. And there are people who just strongly disagree. And by the way, in the specific case of Israel, there are a ton of Orthodox who I know who are opposed to the state of Israel. They're more Jewish than Dave Rubin, a lot more. And yet they oppose it. Jeff Sachs is like a wonderful man, who's Jewish and most articulate kind of critic of the state of Israel that I'm aware of. So
I've heard better.
I don't know. That's just meaningful. You can't, if everything is inherited, then there's no hope for the continuation of America. Mm-hmm. Do you see that?
Yeah.
I really want to know what Nick means by only white people and Christians, as in like in which time period? Do you mean in the last 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years? Like what time period?
In my lifetime, there is like
that's all he knows.
This
well, like what do you mean?
It's universe.
Like what time period do you mean?
The churches of today do kind of like this. Don't be racist, kind of like built into every kind of seminar.
A lot of churches been doing that for decades and decades now, right?
Right, which makes sense because that's kind of what Jesus was saying. It's like love thy neighbor.
It took them a while, but they got there.
Well, you're ignoring like the history of the continuousness of Christians fighting other people because they weren't Christian.
But that's not based on race. That's based on belief.
Yeah.
The belief about lesser races.
If they were natives here were all white, like they would have done the same thing.
There was a version of Christianity that said we could enslave the blacks because they were of the descendants of what is the two brothers, and then now what we have is the Hebrew Israelite group has flipped that on its head and said, no, we're the true people because we're the good brother of that one. I can't remember the fucking passage.
These are borrowed stories, man.
But there's history to it. Like that's.
I'm trying to go with recent American history. That's what I'm trying to go with. I'm like, what time period was it? Like, when did it start? When was it like, okay, what Nick would, like, your best guess as far as what Nick would say is white people. When did that become like it's their job? Like now it's their goal to like they're the only ones trying to be nice to the other races.
Well,
what time period is that from?
Identity politics is all about. Even things that they like
Well, I'm just saying, like,
Like
what time period is he
it's never
talking
been
about?
just them. Never.
After the 60s?
Like, are you sure? After the 60s? Are you fucking trolling?
Yeah, sort of.
Do you know number of court cases where like a black guy did it and they'd go and just find a random black guy and arrest him for it? They'd get in trouble. Do you know how often that actually happened?
Goodfellas got that scene. Yeah.
No, I'm saying real life, Jesse. This is the thing that happened.
No, but I mean, like, it was a part of real life. So it was the like such a trope, right? Like,
Yeah.
like
I mean, there's gang violence in the crack epidemic and all that shit, which, we already know the government was bringing drugs into the country. But those people are responsible still for, gang members and taking up guns and shooting other people with them and all that shit. But so is the fucking mob. These guys were disappearing bodies left and right, too. It's like, so like, what is the time period where white people are like, you know what? We need to ingratiate ourselves with other races here. When is it? What time period is it that Nick's talking about? This great history that it comes from 2016 that he comes from.
Wait, just white?
He has no experience of it, actually, to be honest with you. You could maybe read some stuff. But if you're only reading Jared Taylor, how the fuck are you going to figure this shit out? Like, for real. Like, what history is he talking about where it's like, it's only been white people doing this? From when? From 2016? Is that what you're talking about? When you had your political awakening? Like, what is he talking about?
I don't know what you're referring to at this point.
He just said the only people trying to, like, ingratiate other cultures and other races is white people, right? That's what he's saying.
Ingratiate other cultures?
Christians and white people are only ones trying to ingratiate take in other races and other people that are different.
I was hearing him
diverse.
say the opposite. Oh.
He's saying they're the only ones that are trying to, like, be able to be mixed with each other and all that stuff, right? He was saying that.
Like,
I'm asking,
I
like,
thought he was saying the opposite.
No, he wasn't.
Work well with others.
Oh, I misheard him.
In a sense. He said, yeah, because he was going on about how the Jews are doing all this bad shit because it's good for the Jews. The only people who don't do that are whites and Christians.
And I'm trying to find out what time period he's talking about. What time period is he talking about?
If you break it down to just whites or just Christian, could you point to a point where
what would happen?
General whites,
dude. What would happen if a white man and a black woman were holding hands walking down the street in the 1970s? Even in the 70s,
I don't know.
I think some shit would go down. Yeah, Bronxville. There you go. 80s, some shit can go down.
That was 80s.
90s, some shit could go down. Like, I'm telling you, dude, it's relatively recent of this ingratiation that, I guess, I mean, Christians have a longer history of trying to, like, in my opinion, from what I've seen, a longer history of, like, the benevolent Christian person trying to do the right thing. But that holds place in other religions as well, right?
Well, hold on. Even now, I can point to a hate crime that happened last year.
Okay, well, I'm not going with, once again, I'm going with majority, not like isolated incidences. Like when did the masses are like, this is cool now, or this is okay now, or we're trying our best, like we want, the black kids in our classrooms or whatever, or the Spanish kids in our classroom. I think when it comes to like Mexican, I think it's still kind of ostracized by quote unquote white people. Not everyone, but a decent amount. Right, Dubster?
Mixed couple is probably like late 80s to early 90s, maybe.
They ain't cleaning. Why are they here?
Or later.
They had to see movies like White Men Can't Jump or something before, like, wait a minute. Other races are cool. Remember Denzel wouldn't kiss Julia Roberts in a movie because it would hurt his black female fans.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't want to piss him off.
And now Denzel's like, I'll kiss dudes now. Where's my dude kissing scene?
Oh wow!
Gladiator.
Wait, was that Gladiator too?
Yes. I was gonna do my first gay scene, bro.
Was Marlon Brando was further back in time, but he made a really big deal about the whole thing about like just how other races were so differently portrayed. He made
Oh
a
yeah.
really big deal about it. Like I think he just didn't even go pick up an award for that.
He had a
He
Native
went
American
from
lady
yeah.
read his speech
Yeah.
for him or something like that.
Yeah.
Because of the John Wayne stuff and shit. I'm telling you, like, it started in Hollywood, right, with TV and movies, and then it slowly filtered into society. Let's just be honest. Right, like, look who's coming to dinner, right? Or was it Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? Something like that. And it was a girl bringing her black boyfriend to the Sidney Poitier, whatever his name is. Brought him to fucking dinner or something. It's like, but Nick is thinking in the lens of 26, like history started in 2016 or something. Like, all these white people asking for diversity. That's a new phenomenon. Like, or sorry, they're the only ones doing it. White people and Christians, they're the only ones doing it. Like, no, like Martin Luther King is from the fucking 60s, bro, isn't he?
And basically, he said whites and Christians are doing this. At the same time, Nick's saying, "Why are we doing this?"
He said he wouldn't allow Jews in Congress or something like that. If we had the government, I wouldn't allow them to be in the government, right? Didn't he say some shit like that? Like only like a small
I've heard him
contingency.
say that. Yeah.
He said he wouldn't be in a black neighborhood if it was. He would die if he wasn't in the black neighborhood.
Or you said he would die if he was in a black neighborhood?
If he was not in the black neighborhood, he would die from not being in the black neighborhood. He would take that.
What? What the
Okay.
fuck you saying?
Did you cut out? What happened?
He's basically implied if everywhere else was radioactive, except for the black neighborhood, he wouldn't be there.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, well,
I don't really fully believe him on that stuff.
well, it's not true.
He talks to you.
Like, do you mean gang surrounded by trap houses? Is that what he means? Or does he mean like an actual like neighborhood that's majority black? There's a major
30
difference.
Minutes. I remember listening to like 30 minutes of him saying, like, look, all these black people are breaking everything. It's their fault. What do you expect? Of course, it's not safe for me to be around black people. I should avoid it at all costs.
Nah. I don't think he.
No,
He
so
doesn't believe
he
that.
does say
If he
that
said
about
that,
the
he doesn't believe it.
neighborhoods, but I see him interacting with black people all the time. Like there's no, like that's not a real thing
kind
for
of like
him.
celebrity-ish people. So
what I'm saying is,
Sure,
he says
sure,
this
but
right
it's
now.
not. It's not the race
I'm
that
saying,
he's actually opposed to, right? Like,
yeah,
he
if you lived in
says
a
that.
rich black neighborhood,
His
he'd
words
be
say it,
fine,
but
right?
yeah, but it's not his real underlying thing.
If you lived in LeBron's
what I'm saying
neighborhood,
is,
he'd be fine, basically.
Yeah.
right
fact,
here,
he'd be
he's
happy.
saying whites and Christians are open to others, but he's not, in the sense that he's saying, I would never want to be. Look, he straight up said he supports segregation as long as we can get along in segregation.
Listen, this fool probably got bullied up on in his own all-white high school. Because he's a little dweeb kid. He's a little nerdy guy, right? Little skinny nerdy guy. He probably got picked on. And like the same thing would happen in an all-black school, Nick. You're a nerdy little dweeby guy. You get picked on. But there's other white kids that are fine. So no, like majority black high schools, they have no problems. I know why? Because they can catch a football. That's why. I'm just saying, bro. That's kind of archetypal, right? You're a little dweeby dude. If you hang around other nerdy dweeby black kids, guess what? You guys would all be best friends. You'll play Magic the Gathering all day and night. We get it. But
I'm just saying, further reference of what is saying right here. He's contradicting himself.
Yeah.
Oh, he does it all the time.
On the Christians a white topic. They're the only ones reaching out to anybody else.
I'm not even worried about his
according to you,
contradictions. Which is
yeah. But according to him, he's like, that's That's not a good thing the Christians are doing and whites are doing.
Like we need to stand
It's
on
just
our, we
funny
need to
to
stand up for
think about.
ourselves now. Like, do black Christians count? Or Mexican Christians? Or
What are black Christians? What are those?
like the Martin Luther King types, bro? They allowed?
Who?
Yeah, whatever. All right. The black. Here we go.
And I don't think it's genetically inherited. And what you're saying about putting aside the tribal interest for the corporate, I don't think it's
continuation of is inherited, then there's no hope for the continuation of America.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see that?
Yeah, I don't think it's genetically inherited. And what you're saying about putting aside the tribal interest for the corporate interest,
Yes.
that's absolutely the case. And that's the only way the country's going to stay together.
Exactly.
And
That's my concern.
And I absolutely agree with you. I would say, though, that the main challenge,
unifying corporate
to that is organized Jewry in America. I don't think Bill Ackman is capable of that. I don't think Sheldon Adelson is capable of that. I don't think Yoram Hazony is capable of that.
Those
for
are
that
big,
matter.
rich, famous names.
And many other, on the right and the left. And I see Jewishness as the common denominator. And you're right. It's not all Jewish people feel the same way. No one would say that, but that does seem to be the common denominator.
Jewishness.
I just feel like it needs.
Is Trump Jewish? Is Obama Jewish? Is George W. Bush Jewish? Is Joe Biden Jewish? Have we had a Jewish president ever? And look at the crimes they're a part of. Is Marco Rubio Jewish?
Like, listening to what he says, I mean, he just referenced organized Jewishness, but he promotes, like, Christianity as a group, whites as a group. Like, if you would ask him, should we have organized, like, white
Whitery.
Christians?
Organized whitery. Call that.
That would be like a yes, right?
To combat them. That might be his excuse. To combat them. To stop them.
But that would be something he'd be on board with, right? Like, that's
I guess you would have to be.
that's
And it's like, I mean, if we look at the globe again and go by Nick's logic, the amount of crimes committed by, in America, non-Jewish white guys in America. And guess what? Obama counts. He's half white. Okay, he counts. He's half white. If we count the totals up, that's a lot of dead people, Nick. A lot of subversion of blue collar, middle class, low class, lower class people, and like domestically, they've been abused. Our civil rights have been abused. Everyone's, other countries subjugated, torn apart. Death squads, bombs, missiles, bullets, sanctions, starvation, on and so forth. Like, damn. It's like, you're not winning. Like, no one's winning. No one's fucking winning.
What's that joke?
If women get up there to be like, well, Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, Condoleezza Rice, you're not winning either. Like,
What is it, Chris Rock?
what?
Is it Chris Rock's joke? If white people ain't winning, who is? We ain't winning. What the fuck they talking about?
That is Chris Rock.
Okay.
Ironically, his stand-up called Bigger and Blacker. That is his stand-up right there. They're trying to take our country, man. All right. There we go. Should watch that one day. There we go.
To be called out explicitly. And I like what you said. If the other day, if you're serving in another country's military or have dual citizenship, you really can't be a part of this project.
Well, that's an easy one.
What if they serve
But
here?
I am much more comfortable as a Christian and an American keeping it on that level because, it's easy to just set universal rules that apply to everyone, not just the Jews or the Christians or the anybody, just like Americans can only serve in the U.S. military or they lose their passport. I mean, I don't know. That's not hard. And I don't know. Why not just say that?
Say what?
That. Why not make every statement about how Americans ought
Because
to
Daddy
behave
Jared's
applicable
watching,
to
that's
all
why.
Americans. Like it's the defensive universal values that will hold the country together, and the emphasis on parochial group values that will break it apart inevitably.
Because this is a particular issue and it's acute. Like I said, I think they are unique in that way. I think that's a unique issue, especially in the Republican Party, especially in the conservative scene. And, you know, this
So
is,
how would you like this
It's
all
like,
to be
I
resolved?
have fans and I can't disappoint
what I
them,
would
Tucker.
like is for
Yeah.
the U.S. government to not be influenced by these kinds of foreign allegiances, not with money that comes from, you know, American citizens like Sheldon Adelson, not from foreign lobbyists. So, I mean, in terms of tangible things, I don't think we disagree on any of it. Like registering APAC and FARA, banning dual citizenship. Like I'm basically in agreement.
I think 80% of the public agrees
And
with
that
that.
was based on
So
something
that's kind of what
1,000 years ago.
gets me a little bit annoyed. It's like these are like America First, the concept. It's the most popular, self-evidently true idea you could have. Like, don't let foreign powers, especially tiny ones far away, control your country. Like, of course not. Everyone agrees with that on both sides.
Yeah.
So the
But I don't think
trick
they are.
is not to let
Whatever.
that idea get subverted.
They're not addressing the human
Does that make sense?
condition
Yeah.
on
And
that in any
I think
sense.
we agree on that.
But it's subverted when they're like, that's hate.
I mean, color me shy.
They're not-
Did you just say the human condition, Dubster?
Well, what? So let's say there is no Israel, but there are still plenty of Jewish people out there in the world, and they have a history, and there just happens to not be in Israel. What's
You would have to do subjugation, right? You can't allow them to be in. Okay, the idea would, like, as far as where Nick's going, you have to say, like, you're not allowed in government because you might create an Israel then, and then eventually the U.S. will become subservient to it. Right? I don't know if you cut out right there or not, or did I cut out? Anyone hear me? Oh no.
Nope.
Can you hear me? Okay. Dubster died, I think. Or his internet died.
hello?
There you go. You kind of cut out.
Okay. Yeah, disconnected. But you're not gonna stop the ambition of a human being that wants like the level of creating a country. So, how do you address that?
I mean, if they're not, let's say it's Nick's America, and they're not even allowed to have representation in the government at all because he's worried about them creating a country. Wouldn't that force them to come together as a group of people to try to get into the government and then create a country? Right?
Right. Or at least separately from being in the government, secretively planning on creating another country that would be outside of our country, but they would possibly unite with other Jews around the world to come up with this for a safe haven because of what America's doing to them now.
Yeah. And honestly, more likely, because let's be real, there's probably a bunch of like gangsters that lured other people to what we call Israel now, right? There's probably a bunch of gangsters that started that shit, and then other people followed suit, right?
Well,
So-
isn't a country, in a sense, a gang anyway? Because it's like, hey, this is our territory. We got to protect it. Hey,
Yeah, but
we
plenty of
got
people don't know they're in
under
gangs.
us, but we got plenty of people under us that will work and provide resources so that we can get other people to create the weapons for us so that we can protect our territory called the country. Because that's the idea of a country is equal an idea to a gang.
Kinda. Well, the street level dude in the Gambino family knows he's in a fucking crime family. He knows he's in the gang right there. American people or Israeli people or whatever country people don't know what these fuckers are doing above their heads or outside of their view. Most of them don't know. With all the news
Well-
broadcasts and all the money put into it, that thing actually works as a smokescreen, so you don't actually see what the fuck they're actually doing. around the world. Let's just be honest. It kind of plays out that way.
So the store shopkeeper that is getting harassed by the mafia can appeal to the country's law enforcement, but once the country no longer accepts your appeal to law enforcement, and you create your gang to go create a country.
Yeah. And also, I just want to add in there. Good.
You're not appealing to this country's law enforcement anymore for things. You're becoming your own law enforcement, in a sense.
Yes, and it would look,
of.
And I think it would be less so people trying to get in the government to create their own country. I think it would be people more so fighting to be part of the country itself, kind of like what black people did in this country, right? Where, you know, they couldn't, like in certain neighborhoods, you couldn't rely on cops, probably in certain situations, right? And when they actually started getting representation in the government, whether it's, you know, lower level, you know, mayors and governors and all that shit, and then eventually in the Senate and Congress, and eventually, I guess, president, symbolically at least, then it's more so like a feeling being a part of the country, not necessarily let's build our own little place, you know, in Africa somewhere. Give us some land. Other people are asking for reparations.
Which also happened.
But, you know.
Which also happened in the end of slavery. There was a country today. I don't remember what it's called, but it's like, but it's where a lot of slaves left America and went back to Africa.
It's called Bambata. Called Africa Bambata.
Are you joking, or is that really what it's called? No, there's an actual country that was completely formed of slaves that left once they were freed, and it's in Africa. I'm not being facetious, joking about that. I just can't remember the name of it.
I honestly have no idea, but I also understand like that'd be like probably a special few, right? And the rest would be like, this is the only place I've known. And then once things were still bad, I'm sure a lot immigrated up north to get away from things that were still bad in the south. So plenty stayed, right? And here we are today.
Yeah.
But that'd be more likely the case. I don't think it'd be like Jewish people would be like, hey, we want our country now. We want a country now. Right? Although some would be.
Well,
some would, right?
In some sense, throughout the 2,000 years of Israel not being a place to Israel becoming a place again, 1,800 years, whatever the exact numbers were, that kind of happened.
Yeah, but it was a small amount of people.
Right.
And then they got everyone else to come join them, and that gave them like actual world power.
And guess what? And not everybody left. Not everybody cared that were Jewish. Some were like, nah, I like where I'm at. I'm not going nowhere. Am I in on the conspiracy? No. I just do my thing.
As far as I understand, there's plenty of Palestinians that welcomed a lot of them because there was a significant Jewish population inside of Palestine. Right? They were like, yo, go on in.
To a point.
Yeah, to a point. And then...
Yeah. They're like, whoa, everybody's coming here?
And, natural paranoia took over, and strife and conflict, and then here we are. Somehow. A lot of his voices say the dumbest shit, don't they? Anyways, let's hear some two loud voices. Here we go.
No, that's hate. It's not hate.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, here's what I will say. I think that there is increasingly a contingent, because what you're talking about exists. When you say that there are people that legitimately detract from this, there is legitimate racial hatred out there.
Big time.
And it's growing. And
I know.
People on our side are afraid to talk about it because they know, like you said, they're going to get called a cuck or a squish or whatever. And I agree with you. The people that are detracting from that need to be called out. And I think there should be no harbor for cruelty, hatred, prejudice, those kinds of things.
And some of them, I'm sorry to be a conspiracy nut. I really try. not to be a conspiracy because it's embarrassing, you know. But after January
prejudice.
6th, and just finding out the number of FBI personnel in the crowd, it's like, and I've just seen this. David Duke is a great example. Some of these are the Charlottesville rally.
Yeah.
Had a bunch of feds there being like, we're white supremacists. We hate the blacks, you know, using the N-word, whatever. You know, it's like, that's not real. Like, there is some of that going on, don't you think?
Yeah, Jared Taylor.
I think that there's a lot of sincere people.
Well, for sure. Oh, I completely agree.
You know, and they're just numbskulls, and some of them are legitimately, they see the opening, that there's legitimate critique of this, and they see an opening to air out their grievances. They get a license they think it's okay now. And I do think it's important to differentiate and say that fundamentally, I guess the word that I would use, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, is reassurance, because I think there's a legitimate, need to reassure people. And this is kind of what I've been doing on these podcasts, that we don't want to harm anybody. We don't want to kill anybody. We don't want to harm anybody. Right. We just want to put America first. And I guess, you know, to the extent that I've been taken out of context over the years or things like that, I'm trying to set the record straight and say, you know, and I appreciate you've given me this opportunity. These are my real views. I'm not one of those haters, let's say.
Yeah. Well,
now, the thing that people might get worried about there is kind of like, let's say everyone's like, all right, let's do that, Nick. And it does become separation of races. And maybe, let's say,
yeah, it's an implied.
Well, if people start economically going against each other within the same, like, that's going to spell for disaster, and that will harm people, right? 100% it would. I'm not saying he's saying to do that. I'm just saying if any race in this country in masses say we're going to go over here and do this and kind of economically support ourselves and fuck everyone else and whatever, right? They take over a state and say, okay, this state's going to vote this way from now on, and we're going to make sure we kind of stay separate from everyone else that's practicing multiculturalism or whatever the fuck. That's going to turn into economic battles with each other. It doesn't seem like you're getting any closer to an answer. I think we all know. I think Nick probably knows it somewhere deep down in his fucking empty skull somewhere, where it's like the answer is just being yourself. That has always been the answer. Meaning, if you're a nerdy scientist motherfucker, do some nerdy science shit. If that's what if that's your actual bliss in the world, go fucking do that. And guess what? Naturally, if everyone does that, you're gonna find all these different types of people. Aesthetics, right? Aesthetics, backgrounds, where they came from, what part of the country they came from, accents, hairstyles, hair colors, all that shit. Just naturally going to see a whole bunch of array of fucking people, right? And that'll be your clique. The scientists, the science nerds, gamers, skaters, you know, basketball players, football players, mixture of both sports, philosophers, psychologists, doctors, like on and so forth. Content creators. I mean, Nick's a part of that himself. Look at all the different backgrounds and races and styles and all this shit of people he's engaged with because they're on the same content creation level as him. He's talked with Tucker and Kanye West. Got to talk with Kanye West next to Alex Jones. Alex Jones hangs out with Candace Owens. Candace hangs out with Alex hangs out with Joe Rogan too. Like all these different types of people because you're all content creators. Does that make sense? For some reason in the world of entertainment, it's like so easy to drop these background things. But as soon as it's like for the rest of us, it's almost like they want to, I don't know, box us in and get us into something, some sort of trouble. Because of their ass backwards thing. Meanwhile, they're not even living that themselves. Right?
Right. Okay, so another thing he's saying is that separation of money thing is already occurring. So he wants it like leveled out in a fair kind of way, which wouldn't be fair because you're taking away from an individual that's already done something to earn what they already have. So he's not even honestly looking at that. Because what he's saying is, like, like the Jews have already done this, as in they've gotten in the top of finance and they've invested and they've gotten our government to fight our battles. So that's money too, in a sense. The influence, the power that they've gotten, all that stuff. It's already occurred. We just need to level it out and take that power away from them.
Just
so
stupid.
yeah,
Doesn't make any
it
sense.
would. Well, it would hurt if we tried to correct that in a sense to like
It'd be
Israel's
corruption.
interest.
It'd be corruption if you tried to correct that, whatever that means.
Yeah, to quote unquote fix the problem. It would be a new problem in the sense of more people are dying because you are literally putting your thumb on the scale kind of thing.
Yeah.
And saying no to something.
Well, in regards to Israel, like the country Israel,
right, but you say it to anything. If you say the blacks, they got too much influence in sports. Let's balance this out. You just fucked with people's money. So therefore you fucked with their resources.
Well, I'm like, why not just do things based on character, strictly? As in, is shooting a basketball or scoring a touchdown in football, is that immoral? No, it's a fucking sport. So that's not the thing you walk away from, right? Wouldn't you walk away from something else? Now, if it's these athletes that aren't doing anything bad, but they get influenced by other people to maybe give their money a certain direction, or use, as you say, resources, I understand that, but like that's like a human problem you got to deal with. You can't just force it out of existence. Only thing you can do is walk away. And if you get enough people to walk away, it changes, right? It changes instantly.
So when you apply that to the influence of Israel in America, like he's kind of outlining that he wants to quote unquote fix that. It is taking away from Israel's defense. It is taking away opportunities for Israel. But what is the fair level of doing that? Is Nick Fuentes the right person to like?
No,
he won't be the mathematician that can figure out what the proper number is.
No.
Absolutely not.
I'll say this right now: if someone magically, just become president somehow, right? If their first action is to cut ties with Israel, they're a fucking idiot. Clean out your fucking house first. Let's be honest. There are certain things that you could easily say, I'm not doing that. Right? Like I said, but the example of like someone shooting a basketball or something like that's not corruption. But hey, some guy who drew up a proposition to blow up this country or to fund this death squad or fund the CIA to go smuggle cocaine into countries, sell them, bring back guns, and give it to our youths in the inner cities. But yeah, it's kind of corrupt. I'll call that corrupt. Those guys can, like, all right, guys, you guys are done. Bye. Like, really clean up house first, and then assess. Like, hey, Israel, we have some questions for you. Would you allow us to investigate this scenario? You already got guarantees from the other guys. Let's say it's like Gaza, Hamas, whoever. We got guarantees from them that they will not fire a fucking bullet. They will let us come in and do a forensic analysis of the entire area to find out what the crime is. Once we figure that out, we will tell the international community the exact names that were involved in each scenario to the best of our knowledge, and then we'll go from there. Now, if you say no to that, once again, it's not a threat. You're not saying, I'm going to bomb you. You're not saying, I'm going to take your weapons away. I'm going to take your money away. You're not saying anything. You're saying, I just want to investigate and find out what the truth is. If they're afraid of that, like, get on your platform as president of the United States and say, hey, guys, international community, we asked them if we can investigate like the crime scene here on all sides. Whoever committed a crime, doesn't matter. I don't care if you're Palestinian, if you're Israeli. I don't care if you're from Cambodia and swam your way into fucking Israel somehow, or into Gaza somehow and committed some crime. We're going to look into every little fucking thing in this area. That's how I would deal with the issue. And if like, hey, they're saying no to that. What do you guys think about that? The international community that's already against what's happening over there, like on paper at least. What do you guys think about that? Hey, companies that are investing in this country that won't let us investigate, not to make them the bad guys, to find every little crime we can find in this area. Oh, just start listing the companies. Company A, Company B, Company C, Company D. Like, just list all of them. Like, yo, these guys are saying, you guys can stand with them when they don't want to like allow us to investigate. It's not trying to harm them. We're trying to investigate who committed what crimes where. Are you guys telling me you don't want to find out if there's any criminals or innocent, actually proven innocence you can maybe showcase as well? You don't want to find that out? Huh. What does that say about you? And just reveals the same thing you just did to your own country, right? Start with yourself, clear out your own fucking closet first, then deal with others from there. Tell as many people as you can, like, hey guys, stand by, we'll get to your shit. But there's people screaming at this place, there's a like direct blatant genocide happening here. Yeah, we want to get to that one pretty quickly, as quick as you can. And guess what? I'm sure we'll have leftover personnel. We can look into other situations. Pretty simple. And it requires some brave souls, obviously, that are like, yeah, what if they fucking false flag us or something? Like, right? They're in danger going into these areas. But guess what? There's motherfuckers that do that shit. There's motherfuckers that are savage like that can do those things. Straight up. But anyways, that's just my opinion of,
But you
know.
I mean, you know who those savages work for? They work for those dudes that don't want those fucking investigations to happen.
One meeting with YellBro, they'll change their minds. And that's a major pause. Super duper pause. If they hang out with me a little bit, they'll change. You watch.
You don't have the check to cover their fee.
Yeah, I do.
They want mercenary money, $400,000 a year kind of shit.
Actually, you're right. I don't have the money because I wouldn't give them money.
See?
I'd be like, well, Bob Johnson here, he says, well, if it's a mercenary, I'm not hiring mercenaries. I'm hiring U.S. personnel.
U.S. personnel? You mean like military? Like SWAT level?
No, like humanitarian.
They're compromised too.
Then we will say, hey, here's all the people that are brave enough to go over there. Here they are by name. We're going to, like, because they have the balls to do this, they'll go over there. And here they are by name. If something happens where they're at, we will investigate that as well. And obviously that comes with assurances first, right? They're not going to tell the U.S. They're not going to tell, Israel's not going to tell U.S. personnel, hey, it's too dangerous, don't go in there. They can't do that with U.S. personnel, right? They can do that with NBC or Reuters or some shit like that, right? But they can't do it with the U.S. They can't do that. I'm just saying. Either way, it's hey guys, I have fantasies, I have dreams, right? Pause. I have dreams though. Anyways, either way, like my first statement would be like, all right, we need to stop funding Israel. Yeah. Like, what are we talking about? It's on the list as far as like something. The idea isn't about defunding Israel. It's not about fucking money. It's about, are you doing some fucked up shit and why are we giving you money to do it? That's the real problem. It's not about giving someone money. But anyways, let's continue. Let's just a little bit more. Let's see where we go here. I see Teddy showed up for horror movies. All right. All right, here we go. That's when Dubster runs away. All right, here we go.
I think people should be allowed to describe what they think.
I'm about to.
I mean, that's like a basic human autonomy question.
Yeah.
Like, if I want to know what you think, I should just ask you and let you talk, right?
Yeah.
So who's going to be president? Who should be president next?
Who should be president? Well, yay, of course. Kanye.
You had dinner with Trump.
I did.
And Kanye.
Yes.
What did you think of that?
It was surreal because those are my two heroes. Those are my two
sad,
like number one heroes of all time. I've always been a Kanye West fan.
You like the music first?
Yes. The music, the fashion, everything.
Really?
Yes,
Do you wear those weird one-piece shoes?
I do.
You actually do?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Black friend.
Like in public?
Yes. You don't think that's cool?
I don't know what I think.
I'll get you some.
I've worn the same clothes since high school. Don't ask me about clothes. I'm not good at that at all. That's hilarious. So you've always been a fan.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
huge fan.
You described your love for Trump, like sincere
Yes.
childhood love for Trump. So what was it like to find yourself at dinner with them?
It was funny because it was literally Thanksgiving dinner. It was 3 days before Thanksgiving. So not only was it dinner, but I'm having Thanksgiving dinner with Ye and Trump at the same table. And these are like my heroes. And
that is so sad.
I mean, the way that it went was sort of interesting. Ye is sort of shy. He deeply admires Trump. He loves Trump.
Also sad.
And I like that about him because Ye really admires anybody that's an industrialist. He loves builders, visionaries, architects. He's very into that. So he has a deep regard for Trump. And so at the beginning, it was a little awkward because he wouldn't talk. And he was sort of shy.
Yay.
Yes. Which is surprising, right? Because he's so outspoken, but Trump was trying to get him to talk. And it was kind of like a boomer moment because Trump was trying to get him to talk about like opportunity zones. He was giving him like the black voter pitch, the black Republican.
Really?
Pitch. Yeah.
Toned
and I
up,
was like, dude, like he's not that kind of Republican, to say the least,
Fair.
At this point, I think people
So
know
what
that.
were you saying?
Well, so eventually, Trump didn't have a lot of luck with him, so he's kind of fielding the table, and he's talking to me. And
Trump does like other people to talk.
yes, well, he likes to talk too.
He does, for sure.
Yeah.
But he asks questions.
Yeah, he does.
More than you would think.
Well, he's a good guy, fundamentally.
Yeah.
He's a very warm guy. So he was asking every.
Can I say no comment for that one? I'll just say no comment.
I don't have that personal experience to weigh in.
You basically had a Joe Rogan podcast with Donald Trump. Okay. Here we go.
Everybody, what's up and who are you? And we got to talking. And, I guess it was going too well because I was being very complimentary of Trump. And Ye was kind of kicking me and saying, like, a couple days prior, we were talking about if Trump and Ye wind up on the debate stage, what is that going to look like? And I was coaching Ye, like, these are his weak areas. Like, this is where we got to attack Trump. And so Ye was like, tell him what you were saying the other day. Tell him what you were saying last night. And I was like, dude, that's our playbook. Like, we don't want to blow up our... and Trump was like...
That's interesting. I wonder if Kanye was like, yo, be real, bro. Stop lying. Be real. I wonder if that was the idea. Anyways, here we go.
Go ahead. Don't be bashful. Tell me, what is it? And I said, you know what? I said, I think you're one of the greatest living Americans. I said, I'm a young guy.
Oh.
I said, I really have nothing to say other than thank you. I have nothing but gratitude for what you've done for the country. I said, it's really not my place, to give you advice or correct you. And he said, no, don't be bashful. Tell me.
No wonder you copy his mannerisms.
That I brought up was, this was really what sent me. In the first Fox News debate in 2015, in the Republican primary,
Yes.
Brett Baer, the first question, said, raise your hand if you will not pledge to support the eventual nominee.
Yes.
And Trump raised his hand because that's what he was saying. He said, if I don't win, I'll run independent and I'll make Republicans lose. And so I brought that up and I told that story and I said, I feel like what was inspiring in 2016 is that you were willing to let the Republican establishment lose. Like you were serious about blowing them up, such that you are not going to say, like Pat Buchanan, who I respect, but Sam Francis acknowledged that was one of his great mistakes, was ultimately endorsing Bush. I said, it showed you were serious. You were playing to win because you said, I will let this Republican Party crash and burn. I want to run as the Republican, but if I can't, I'll run independent. I said, and that's how I knew you were serious. And that's how I knew you were the guy. I said, and I feel like lately, this was right after Ronna McDaniel became the head of the RNC again. I was like, I feel like lately you're just behind all these people. I said, we're not here for Kevin McCarthy. We're not here for Ronna McDaniel or Mitch McConnell. I said, we are here for you. Like we will die for you. We are loyal to you.
Whoa.
I said, and when you did that, That showed you could win, and we rallied. I said, so I want to see more like that. I want to see you hit DeSantis, let's say, who is running against him. And he was like, oh, okay. He goes, oh, so you like that? It was right after he called them DeSanctimonious.
Yeah.
I said, that was awesome. You should have kept hitting him.
Pause. And also, that's the remember Jesse, the fucking, was it Drain the Swamp? Was that the saying that he's like, this sounds so fucking stupid. Oh, wait, they like it? All right, I'll do it. Like the most like pseudo shit you could possibly do, right?
Yeah, it's Drain Swamp.
This has to be there has to be like a negative to this story where it's like, but then I started, actually paying more attention and I found out this guy sucks. He's terrible. Has to go there, right? Wasn't he like on his own show? Like at first it was endearing, but then after a while, you know what? I realized it's corny, it's hacky, it's cringy. Because he's not that guy. He's full of shit. But Nick seems like giddy almost about this. I'm not trying to like read him too much like that, but like it's a whiff I'm getting, a smell, a whiff I'm getting of being giddy about the good old times. And it's like, yeah, that guy was full of shit. This is his second run, and I haven't seen anything but corruption so far. Like I'm still like I haven't seen anything else. Honest to God, the most innocent I've seen Trump behave was when he got shot at. This is the only time the most innocent I've ever seen him as. Good God.
John Bolton was indicted 2 weeks ago. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and some. I'm sure they'll get him on espionage, right? We're trying to sell a book.
5 years. From 5 years ago. National crime was 5 years ago.
Oh no!
But if you're drunk and you end up in somebody else's car, you're getting arrested in 3 minutes.
Yeah, but also like, actually, what they're going after him for continues the precedent of going after whistleblowers. Actually, like they might make like a John Bolton rule, which will just add punishment on top of the already Espionage Act charges that are already sitting there. So like if someone wants to speak up and say, yo, these guys, bombed a school bus full of kids on Thursday, May 17th, 2027 or something like that, right? Here's me releasing the documents about it. Well, now we get to behead you. Like, this keeps setting a new precedent because you can go after John Bolton for war crimes. But if he did that, he'd have to literally put handcuffs on himself. He'd have to at the same time, right? So what do you go after him for? Shit you go after us for. Duh. And then John Bolton's going to have high-powered lawyers and maybe squirm his way out of the charge. Right? And it just becomes publicity and a stunt. Anyways, here we go. There's more of giddy Nick Fuentes. Hopefully they turn it over to, okay, here's why I turned so sour on Trump. Here we go.
He's like, oh, you like that? He goes, this guy's hardcore. I like this guy he was saying about me. And so I was trying to just get his mojo back, and, gas him up a little bit.
Pause again.
And so that's how it went between me and him.
And what was Ye saying at this point?
Well, he was beaming with pride. Because Trump turns to him and says, who is this guy? This guy's great. And Ye was like, right? And I was like, this is amazing.
Did you call your parents from the parking lot?
Oh, yeah.
You got dick,
yeah.
You got dick licked.
You'll never believe. Yeah.
I try never to think like, how will this be perceived? It's better just to like be as honest as you can be all the time. And, and honest people will respond, agree or disagree, but they'll feel your sincerity and your honesty. But there are always people who are going to like distort it. And I recounted basically the Christian gospel at Charlie Kirk's memorial service, and everyone's like, "You're an anti-Semite." I literally didn't have one thought about Jewish people. It had nothing to do with that. It was whatever. So, but I was thinking about this conversation, which I'm sure can't imagine what that in the ways.
But you might be able to understand from the outside based on the whole reason why people are calling you some sort of revolutionary, Tucker, especially involving the whole Israel topic. Duh. And you saying that story. Once again, you could be just being openly and blatantly honest. That's fine. But if you don't step back and be like, what would other people think about this? Like afterwards, right? That'd be kind of dishonest, I think. That would be dishonesty to not recognize, like, okay, these guys might be thinking this, right? They may not be fully, like, there could be a bunch of people that are not strictly like, oh my God, we need to take down Tucker Carlson. Here's our scheme. Here's our plan. It could just be regular people hearing things and only hearing certain things about you. And thus, when they hear you go on, like, on an event that they have to watch, right? Maybe they're like, fuck Tucker Carlson, I don't watch his content. He's anti-Semitic in their minds, right? Because of the content they see. All of a sudden they see, like, the Charlie Kirk thing happens, where it's like, most likely in their whole political world, that's important. And thus they watch the memorial. And thus they hear you up there, and they hear that from you. And it just feeds into what they were already thinking, right? They're already in this biased state. And to not understand that as a possibility would be batshit crazy to me. Although you can dismiss it, I'd be like, oh, they're a bunch of dumb fucks. But, like, you could see dummies doing this shit because they're brainwashed or conditioned in some other area. But, you know, it's just like, well, I'm honest because I'm honest. You could say that too, I guess. But, you know, it's kind of a read the room scenario. Like, maybe, you know, maybe you can try to, like, somewhat understand why other people might say something different or attempt to, just for the sake of diagnoses, and then knock it down once you diagnose it. But yeah, your condition, work harder, examine yourself, yada, yada, yada. But, all right, here we go.
So it'll be distorted,
might be
but I do hope
the beginning
that
of the end for this
people
video.
who want to learn what's happening and who you are will watch the whole thing. It's probably naive hope that it won't be reduced to whatever you're
I was
saying,
hoping they go
something
more to
naughty
Trump, but
and
they
me
cut
laughing
it right
and
there.
see they're
It's
both
crazy.
Nazis. I mean, you know that's going to happen, of course. But I'm willing to take that risk because I just think it's important to
It's for
know
humanity.
you're clearly ascendant. You're enormously talented. You're more talented than I am, for sure, as a talker. So, and they've, you know, there have been a lot of attempts to silence you and it hasn't worked. So my calculation, I'll just be as blunt as I can be. It's like, do I want to have Fuentes on? Everyone's going to be like, but you're a Nazi just like Fuentes. Okay. But then I'm like, I don't think Fuentes is going away. Ben Shapiro tried to, like, strangle him in the crib in college, and now he's bigger than ever. So it probably would just be worth hearing what Nick Fuentes thinks. I just want to be
By the way, this was already seen to be going, like, if you maybe you remember, like, back in that time period, 2015, 16, 17-ish territory, we had guys like Lift the Veil, Last American Vagabond, and most importantly, No More News, right? Adam Green. And you could see it bubbling from there. Let's just be honest. And I think it was before Nick Fuentes. Maybe it was around the same time, but it might be before Nick Fuentes, as far as, like, they had, like, a bigger audience, maybe, right? And people were saying Adam Green is getting viewers. No More News is getting more viewers because he's hyper focused on the Jewish aspect of everything. And you can just see the numbers just growing and growing and growing. It's like, yo, like, over the other guys, right? Not that Nathan Stoltman is so genius at Lift the Veil. Last American Vagabond was kind of baby stepping through it, but he's doing, like, a lot more, like, research. And Adam Green focused a lot on Jewish. He did. And he was just gaining viewers over everyone else while doing that. And it's like, this is an actual internet phenomenon. Like, it's like a pocket of people, like, really invested in that area, like, really invested. So you can see that. So thus, Nick, in that same area, it's no surprise. It's no surprise. Especially because, like, he's a quote-unquote better talker. I mean, not in my opinion, but, you know, people just talk different. Some talk slower, some talk faster, yada, yada, yada. But the thing, like, closer to TV voices, yes, that'd be Nick Fuentes, right? He has, like, a clear voice that talks fast. It doesn't stumble words, doesn't say, right? So thus, he's more valuable. Got it. But that's just closer to TV. It's closer to what you're used to as far as, like, clearer voices or more of a conditioned sense of what is a proper way to talk. I understand that. But yeah, him doing that while being younger, and then him, like, actually investing money and time by going to these places with megaphones, like Alex Jones style. Yo, Ben Shapiro, debate me, bro. Then he had his other young followers go to other events like Steven Crowder's live shows or Charlie Kirk live shows, and they ask him questions wearing suits and holding, what are they called? Rosaries? Holding rosaries. It became kind of another internet phenomenon, right? And then eventually, like, he started working, like, just more and more. And then definitely the Kanye West shit helped out quite a bit. For sure, helped out. Uh, and the attachment to other online celebrity type of things. So, yeah. I mean, I wish I could say it's pure merit, but I'm not sure it entirely is. He wasn't saying things I haven't heard before. He wasn't. Uh, even the kind of subtopic stuff like the race and IQs, like that was old news by then. By the time he's fucking yelling about it, the Israel stuff, old news. Israel lobby, old news. Even if it's Holocaust revisionism, not new. Maybe a lot more newer on a bigger stage. Maybe a lot more newer on a bigger stage, but not overall new.
He never went deep into that.
No, I don't think he really
vaguely talks about it.
Yeah.
Never talk about Nuremberg.
I'm sure it's more of the like kind of the shitpost culture, the meme shitpost culture that also leaned into helping him for sure. But
yeah, I don't think he's ever said Khazari out loud.
Probably not. I mean, it's like I don't know. Maybe it's me knocking him down a bit, but it is what like this is my actual perspective. Like, I don't see anything special here. I don't. I just don't. But I can see based on the world we live in right now and the popular pockets in culture that exists, I understand why he's popular. I can see that. Doesn't mean I think it's like, yeah, this is an awesome thing that'll be here forever and ever. It's more so in these times I see it. I can understand. It's just to me, I'm like, where's the fucking talent at? Where's the actual talent at? It's like me watching, like, man, Batman, the Batman starring Robert Pattinson, amazing. It's like that's what I'm hearing when I hear about how awesome Nick Fuentes is. I'm like, that movie's kind of mediocre, man. Like, I would say it sucks personally, but let me be nice here. Oh, it's mediocre. It's me being nice to Nick, by the way, not the movie. The movie's terrible. I'm being nice to Nick. Like, oh, this shit's kind of mediocre. How does no one see that? Well, when you're a man of the times, and this is your only understanding of film, it probably looks like a fucking masterpiece to some people. And it's like, no, it's fucking not. Just like Nicky Boy here. Or Tucker. They sound like geniuses, but I see mediocrity. I see more so leaning towards fame and celebrity than it does with, oh, this guy just brings information that, oh my god, I would have never thought of that. Or wow, what a perspective. Once again, it doesn't have to be like journalistic, you're sitting in a ditch in Gaza somewhere reporting the news. I mean, like, if you're not like a journalist like that, you better be saying something culturally or philosophically or psychologically that's actually interesting, that actually holds some weight to me. And I don't see it. I see them late as fuck, repeating shit that other people have already went down. They already said these things, and these guys are just getting to it. That's just a weird thing. But yeah, go ahead.
It's like you got the full history of, like, I don't know, computer. But you don't tell anybody that there's a chip involved, and it took melting steel to get to them having to figure out how to make a chip, and then how a computer has a screen, how a monitor was made, and you're just like, no, this is a wonderful thing, this computer. It's just a computer. What else do you need to know? It's a computer, it works for you. But you don't acknowledge where this all came from. That's what he is to me. He's just like, he's a simplified version of the current product. He has no understanding of the history of all of Israel. He's never walked anybody through, like, the claims of the issues of Israel stuff. He's never done that. So he's more like an introductory character to, well, have you ever heard of a computer? It's 4-year-old. Well, this is a computer.
That might be the
Like,
best fucking was it metaphor or whatever you've ever said in your life. Good God. Okay.
like you don't understand where the computer came from and like the 150 years of other inventions to get us to the computer.
Yeah. Hey, well, yeah. It's like he was like literally born in 2016. Like he was born 18 years old in 2016 or something. That's what it feels like.
It's like,
And the things he went back to are just from like 2008 or something.
oh,
It's like, okay.
it'd be like saying, "What's the new iPhone? iPhone 15 or whatever," and you're just trying to explain to somebody that just learned language, never heard of iPhones, and you're like, "Okay, well, this is iPhone 15. Um, this is what iPhones are." It's like somebody asks about iPhone 14. He's like, "Well, I don't fucking know about that. I got iPhone 15, man. I know what it does."
Yeah. Well, I know I'm sure he knows some historical things, but they're kind of like by
Yeah,
selective
go over it.
footnote things instead of
He's never broken it down and connected all the dots. He's never, at least out loud. That's what I'm saying. Like, he gives some blanketed versions of things to where, whenever, like, uh, Carlson is calling him out on these things, he would be fortitude in his belief of some things that he's not fortitude in it. Like, even if other people would look at it wrong and look at it as judgmental or racist or like segregationist, if you had the actual belief and you've walked through the history that I have on these topics, you may look crazy to others, but you would at least look fortitude in your belief on it at the same time, being like, look, this is what I've studied, and this is what makes me think this.
yeah. Well, I agree with you, except I would say less so the political topics and more so just the lessons you learn through life, right? Nick's been burned several times, and yet he's still playing the same game. It sounds like that's what I'm hearing. It's like you didn't learn any like wisdom from these events that happened to you at all, right?
No, all he really cares about is, I've been on TV for 10 years now. Don't you want to ask me questions about my history of being on TV?
Well, it's like I don't know. I almost guarantee, yeah, like he's had an interview in the past where it's like, damn, I'm never doing that again. And then here he is. That's not me trying to shit on Tucker at all. It's just saying like, kind of these like non-risk taking, bland discussions instead of like, yeah, here's how here's my experience of like never getting fucking played again ever. It's not the curse. Once again, it's just like at some point we have to like get over like he's. I'm sorry, dude. I've seen the guy giddy. Oh my god, and Trump was there and he asked me some questions. It was so cool. And he just move on to something else. I'm like, oh man.
Oh, I just thought of this too. We've been listening to this for what, an hour and 12 minutes or whatever at this point?
3.5 hours. Oh wait, in the video? Or do you mean
Oh, yeah, what's
hour
the
and a
time of
half?
the video at this point?
Hour and a half. And I'm about to
Okay,
be done
so
with
an
it
hour and a
already.
half.
Okay, God.
How many times have you heard the word Gaza?
Not once.
Oh, okay.
How many times have you heard the name Trump with a criticism next to it? Not once.
No,
And
once
that's
for the
Tucker's
criticism.
content. I don't know if they're editing Nick. Maybe Nick was like, all right. Listen, I had that good experience with Trump, but here's what I really think now, based on all my new experiences, right? Of feeling played and feeling this way or that way, whatever the fuck. Here's what I feel now. Maybe Tucker cut that out, or maybe it's later in the video that I'm not going to play right now. I don't feel like it, but it feels like there should be like a Like, why wait till 4 years go by and then be like, well, here's the moratorium on Trump. Here's the diagnosis of the Trump administration and his 2 different stints. Why not do it? Like, you have enough problems right there. Start now. Nick rants on his show about shit like this, like, nonstop, right? I see Tucker avoiding it, but, like, why not bring that to the table? Tucker's not afraid, right? He's like, oh, who cares? It's Tucker's attitude, on camera at least, or in front of us. His attitude is like, oh, whatever, who cares?
Remember,
let's just do it.
Remember, he called Trump out and then got a phone call from Trump, and him and C-Ban went to the White House, and then Tucker was silent about Trump ever again. About 2.5 months ago.
I mean, so we watched
maybe longer.
We watched the TPUSA event with Tucker. Trump was just apparently invincible there as well. And that's what I'm saying with these guys that are out here saying, Israel, Israel, Israel. It's like, these guys are working with them. Like, someone's handing them weapons, right, guys? Hello? Or is that guy not... You're not a criminal. It's only the guy who shoots the gun, not the dude who fucking arms him. Like, come on. But it is what it is. Like, once again, I'm expecting... I'll take a wild guess here. I'm going with 2 to 3 years from now. Yeah, 2 to 3 years from this date right now. That's when people are like, man, maybe Trump's... Like we can openly say, like, Trump is ass cheeks. It's not just Kash Patel. It's not just Bondi. It's this entire apparatus thing. This thing sucks.
Because he's going to run again in 2020.
Oh, okay. He's going to get a 3rd term when we're at war with Venezuela, and we need our president.
Already talking that up. They're already talking that up right now.
I know. I was trolling there. It's no guarantee that's the case because, let's be real, the most effective way for these guys to continue wars without getting their they're getting their hands dirty, but the appearance of not getting their hands dirty is to fund other groups to do things for them. Right? So let's just be honest about that. So the whole all-out war thing that everyone's worried about, don't just look for that. Don't just look for American troops to, like, touch soil in another country. Like, actually look for, like, these guys claim to want to go to war there. Okay, no American troops there. You know what? We're not at war. Oof. But meanwhile, they're doing all the things for war there. And yeah, maybe it's not U.S. troops there, but it's other people that are being funded. Maybe mercenaries, maybe people within the country that are sympathetic towards the U.S., maybe drug dealers that they claim to be fighting in the country, turning against Maduro, like, whatever. Right? It's like any of these situations. But if you just stop at, are they American or not? If you stop there, and you know about it, if you're like, I don't care because it's not Americans, I'd be like, can I call that person a Christian? Can I do that? I don't think that's allowed to be out. I can't do that, right? But you're a fucking devil worshiper, you dummy. I have to go with that. What do you want me to do? I have to go there. But, all right. I will leave it there. There's your video. Please subscribe if you feel like. Comment, agree, disagree. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Yeah, any opinions, you're all welcome. I'm sure people will tell me to shut up and let Nick talk, even though they've heard the story 10 million times. I'm looking for new insights here that I don't think I really got. I got a nice story about him and Ye and Trump playing patty cake in the White House or something. I got that, I guess. And some interesting intellectual flubs, I think, from both of them. Maybe they're just unaware of each other or unaware of themselves, most likely. So thus they just say things, and it's just, oh, we all giggle and be cordial. Got it. But either way, you can just call me a dumbass and no argument and say, all right, shut up. And give me a thumbs down. Just move on.
Somebody's going to say, if you just watched 5 more minutes of it, you would have saw them fist fighting.
I don't need them to fight. I need them to say something, outside of the boxes that we already know they occupy. But maybe they do. Right? I'll be fair. Maybe they do say go there. And if someone can timestamp.
Your dad's a CIA agent. Your dad's a CIA agent.
All right. If you want to, please timestamp it of a portion I'm missing. I'll react to it. No problem. But yes, all opinions welcome in the comment section. Also, all opinions welcome in the Discord if you want to join that. And I mean all opinions in words. No, nothing pornographic, please, or grotesque. As far as images or even words, sometimes if it's too far, I'll give you like a warning for either one. I try my best not to. I typically don't ban anyone, but in this new Discord, I will do it. But don't worry, I'll just send you here. And welcome to YellBro's dungeon. You can hang out with us all day if you want. And trust me, we do some weird shit here. Pause. That's a major pause, actually. Super duper pause. Whatever. Also, please check out the donation links if you want to donate to that, or if you can't donate to it, share the story. Why not? Whether you can give money or not, share the story. Also, obviously, these videos, this video, and the one I showed you, this one. Oh, maybe actually, let me just send this to myself right now. If I have it. That one, I'll link both of those things in the description box for you to watch on your own. Yeah, and that's it. And with all that said, please give this video a thumbs down. 3.5 hours, fuck. Shut up, Jordan. Nick's so awesome. You fucking Dennis the Menace, little bitch ass.